The Orleans Firebirds begin a home-and-home with the Falmouth Commodores as the Birds take on the Doors here at Eldridge Park. We welcome you here to Orleans, Massachusetts on a picture-perfect evening for Cape Cod baseball. Josh White alongside Braden Bell for the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Braden, the Birds coming off a tough loss at the hands of the YD Red Sox, 5-2 here at Eldridge Park. The Birds didn't go down without a fight, though, in that ninth inning.
Yeah, and really from the fourth inning on, Orleans outplayed Yarmouth Dennis in that game. It was just a slow start yet again that hampered the Firebirds in that ball game. The pitching was very good out of the bullpen, as it was talked about on social media today for Orleans, but the starting pitching could not get the job done for the Birds, and that's really what hampered them. And obviously, you're right, they played a lot better towards the end of that game, but this is a group that is not going to take any moral victories. Kelly Nicholson, as almost every single coach in the game of baseball, does not believe in moral victories, and so Birds got to try to respond and have some success against a team they've really struggled to get anything going offensively against in Falmouth.
Taking on a Falmouth team that 15 days ago, these two teams squared off here at Eldridge Park. Completely different story for the Commodores. They're playing some great baseball at the moment. Winners of 4 of their last 5 games, sitting in 3rd place of the West Division at 15-14-1. Just 7 points back of Hyannis. For the Firebirds, they are in 4th in the East Division at 12-18-1. Good for 25 points. And Braden, obviously, as we get closer to first pitch here, we'll introduce the starting pitchers right now. On the Falmouth side, it's Matthew Canarino, the right-hander from Rice, and on the other side for the Birds, it's Corey Giacone from southeastern Louisiana.
Really excited to see Corey Giacone out there on the bump. He has earned this start so far in 3 appearances, 7 innings pitched, has not allowed an earned run yet. He's looked very, very solid in his short time with the Birds, so the right-hander from southeastern Louisiana should be strong tonight, and I really look forward to seeing him try to own the strike zone early on and just keep the ball down against one of the worst-hitting teams in this league. And then on the other end, another very good starting pitcher from Rice, Matthew Canarino. He's been outstanding so far with an ERA under 1, so it should, in the makings of things, when you look at the stats, might be another low-scoring battle between the Commodores and Firebirds.
As everyone knows, pitching wins championships, and we're talking about pitching, especially on the Orleans side. It can't go without being said of Graham Stinson and Kenyon Yovan, what they did in their short time before heading off to Team USA. They are now back. Kenyon will start tomorrow's ball game. Graham shut down for the summer, but spending some time here in Orleans. Our very own Eliav Gabay got a chance to catch up with them before today's game. Hear what Kenyon and Graham had to say. Very great interview there from Eliav Gabay, talking to a couple of big-time pitchers that should see their names called pretty early in the 2019 MLB draft, but obviously they're guys off the field as well, and gotta love it. Mangoes, topic of conversation on the pregame.
Yeah, that kind of raised an eyebrow for me. Not necessarily the first thing I think of when I think Cuba. I think of some spicy food perhaps, but mangoes are a delicious fruit, and I agree with Graham on that.
You're a mango guy.
Absolutely, huge mango guy.
Huge mango guy, Braden Bell, Graham Stinson. They should get together for lunch and have some mangoes. But Graham joined us on the broadcast last night, did a fantastic job on play-by-play. You can check that out if you want on our social media at Firebirds CCBL on Twitter. And Braden, now on to tonight's game after That 5-2 loss for the Birds. Again, third meeting of the summer between Falmouth and Orleans before the Commodores and the Firebirds take on each other tomorrow night at Arnie. We're going to key in on a signature guy on each side. Braden Bell, you know the rules. We're at the Bird Watch. Give me one player from the Falmouth side, one guy from the Orleans side. Who's going to shine tonight on the baseball diamond?
All right, so I'll start with the Orleans side of things, and the right-hander on the mound in Matthew Canarino. So I'm going to go with a lefty batter, a guy who will reach base, and I'm going to go with the money ball method. I'm not necessarily promising a hit, but I'm promising he will reach base. He does so almost every single game. Give me Logan Wyatt tonight. Might get hit by a pitch, I hope not, but it could happen, and why not a double? I'll say a double as well, along with a walk. So Wyatt is my bird to watch on our Orleans side. And for Falmouth, I'm going to kind of, double-cross myself, if you will. I'm going with starting pitcher Matthew Canarino. This is a Commodore lineup that's not too great, not too much pop. I think Giacconi will do a good job out there for Orleans. Canarino's been a guy that's been very impressive so far in his time in Falmouth. I expect him to be pretty good out there on the bump.
A couple very interesting picks from Braden Bell. We'll see how Canarino and Wyatt do tonight. First pitch coming up next here on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. The Orleans Firebirds look to get back on track as the Birds take on the Falmouth Commodores here at Eldridge Park. We welcome you back here to Orleans, Massachusetts. Josh White and Braden Bell on the call as Corey Giacone gets set to get loose for his first start of the summer. Let's introduce you to the Falmouth starting nine. Leading things off and playing left field, Will Brennan. The DH, Maverick Hanley, will hit second. Batting third and playing right field is Kyle Stowers. Hitting cleanup and playing center field is Matt Wallner. The fifth hitter, Davis Sims, will play first base. Manning shortstop and batting sixth is Logan Davidson. The seventh hitter, Cameron Cannon, will hit seventh. Edward Julian, the second baseman, will bat eighth. And rounding out the order for the Commodores is Herbert Iser, catcher from Dallas Baptist, as Corey Giacone gets ready to make his first start of the summer. So Brennan strolls to the plate, the left fielder from Kansas State. He'll dig in from the left side, set to face the right-hander from southeastern Louisiana. Giacone, making his fourth appearance of the summer, has not allowed an earned run with a whip of just .86. So Giacone gets on the rubber, wheels and deals. First pitch to Brennan. Fastball on the outside corner, called strike one at 7:03, and we're underway. Giacone gets the sign, kicks and fires the 0-1. Fastball that runs just outside, and that'll even up the count at 1-1 Brennan, the rising junior at Kansas State, originally from Stillwell, Kansas, I beg your pardon, the 1-1. Breaking ball hit the other way, down the left field line, and this one dinks in fair territory. Brennan takes the turnaround first base as this ball kicks away from Groshans. He'll head to second base as Brennan gets on board with a single and an error charged to Jax Groshans.
Not the way you wanted to start if you're Orleans. Groshans, we talked about it last night, not really an outfielder. Meant to be behind the dish, but because of his bat, Kelly Nicholson finding any way possible to put him into the starting lineup, and Falmouth reaps the benefits of an early mistake.
So far from an ideal start for Orleans is now Maverick Hanley, designated hitter from Stanford, digs in from the right side. First pitch from Giacone. Breaking ball that runs outside for ball one. Hanley, the Highlands Ranch, Colorado native, attends Stanford, batting .221 this summer with 1 home run and 8 RBIs. Brennan leads off second base. Giacone comes set. Here's the 1-0. Hanley shows bunt and pulls back on the fastball that catches the outside corner. And that evens up the count at 1-1. Hanley coming off a 1-for-4 night a couple days ago, with the Commodores getting rained out last night, just through 2 innings of play. Brennan leads off second, the 1-1. Curveball fouled off the mask of the catcher, Clark. That'll make the count 1-2. Hanley has reached base in 6 straight games entering today. The 5'10", right-handed swinging designated hitter digs back in from the right side. Hanley with the high socks, meeting the knee line at the great pass. 1-2. Curveball got him, strike 3. Gorgeous breaking ball from Corey Giacone freezes Hanley, and there's 1 out away here in the top of the first.
Now that's a nasty pitch from Corey Giacone. Kind of just a shake of the head of Maverick Hanley, a guy who usually has a very disciplined approach at the plate, but a big-time strikeout after giving up that leadoff single and then the error. So we'll see if Giacone can navigate his way through the rest of this first inning. He hasn't given up an earned run yet this season, and we'll see if he can keep that going.
So Kyle Stowers, the right fielder from Stanford as well, digs in from the left side. First pitch from Giacone. Fastball that paints the outside corner, but just misses, says the home plate umpire. Let's give you the umpires tonight here at Eldridge Park. Behind home plate, David Gonzalez. At first base, William Peck. And at third base, Richard Galvin. Long stare in from Giacone, who now comes set. Brennan leads off second, the 1-0. Fastball chopped up the right field line and foul, touched by Wyatt. And that'll even count at 1-1. No score in the early going here at Eldridge Park between Falmouth and Orleans. Stowers, an El Cajon, California native, described by Eric Miller, his Stanford teammate on the Orleans side, as a very laid-back Cali guy who likes to surf. Fits the stereotype. He's having a good summer on the East Coast, batting .330 with 4 long balls. Giacone checks on the runner, the 1-1. Breaking ball that misses outside, and then I'll make the count 2-1.
And you might laugh when you hear that easygoing surfer guy mentality, but that can actually help with the game of baseball. You don't worry too much if you have a bad night. You're just easygoing, calm all the time. That's what Stowers is.
2-1 pitch from Giacone. Breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and that'll even count at 2-2. And it's kind of funny to see Eric Miller, who's kind of one of those laid-back kids as well, not from the West Coast, but Midwester himself from St. Louis, giving that scouting report on Stowers. And like you talked about, very good trait to have in the game of baseball. Stowers, an all-star here in the Cape League. Ciccone comes set at the chest, steps off the rubber, checks on the rubber runner at second, but nobody home to cover the bat. Let's give you the Orleans defensive alignment. The outfield from left to right, Jax Groshans, Matt Frazier, and J.J. Boudet. The infield, Justin Levy, Andrew Martinez, Spencer Steer, Logan Wyatt, and the battery mate to Ciccone, Phil Clark. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball fouled back to the brick behind home plate. And we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And not that being a hard-nosed mentality player is not a good thing. Of course, there are many on this Orleans team that is on the flip side of that coin, and that can be just as successful. Both sides can work depending on the individual, but it certainly can help sometimes, especially if you're going through a slump, to just be easy going.
Stowers digs back in from the left side. Ciccone comes set at the chest. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball chopped at the first baseline. Foul once again. As Stowers ahead of the curveball, and we'll do it again at 2-2. 6'3", 205-pound two-way player, an outfielder, as well as a left-handed pitcher, has not pitched this summer on the Cape after making 4 appearances this past season at Stanford. But a very talented hitter, a Pac-12 honorable mention this past season. Brennan leads off second base. Ciccone comes set. Checks on the runner. Here's the 2-2. Fastball runs inside, almost clips Stowers. Another run they count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Brennan with 8 stolen bases leading off of second base. A big threat to run. He's only been caught 1 time this summer. No score in the early going between Falmouth and Orleans with 1 down. Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball hit on a line over the head of Logan Wyatt down the right field line, and that will dig in. Rounding third base is Brennan. He's in easily. The throw into second base, not in time. It's an RBI double for Kyle Stowers, and the Commodores strike first. It's 1-0 in favor of Falmouth.
Just a great piece of hitting by the surfer boy from California, Kyle Stowers. Didn't really necessarily crush that baseball, but sent it in the perfect place right over the head of Logan Wyatt. And just like Falmouth was here last time, putting together good ABs so far in the early going.
This is a Falmouth team that is not known for their offense. They score the 4th fewest runs, the 2nd fewest runs in the Cape, entering tonight. Now Matt Wallner, the center fielder from Southern Mississippi, digs in for the left side. First pitch from Ciccone. Fastball that misses outside for ball 1. Wallner, a tall kid at 6'5", 220 pounds, originally from Forest Lake, Minnesota. He's batting .250 through his first 9 games. Stowers leads off second, the 1-0. Fastball fouled off the left shin guard of Clark, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wallner played with the U.S. Collegiate National Team, was cut by them, and has now returned to the Cape Cod League. Stowers leads off second base. Long stare in from the right-hander, Ciccone. Now he comes set at the chest. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball cut on and missed, and then I'm going to count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-0 the score in favor of Falmouth, with 1 down in the top of the first. Ciccone trying to bounce back with his 2nd K of the night. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher, Clark. And that evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Kind of eerily similar to what we saw last night at the beginning of this ball game. YD had a great start, obviously, but it was the grinding approach they've had at the plate so far that's been so reminiscent of the Red Sox.
Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball cut on and missed, strike 3. Another breaking ball on the outside corner. That fools Wallner, and there's 2 away in the top of the first.
That breaking ball so far for Ciccone really been dialed in, going with that slider and drawing a bunch of swings and misses and shakes of the head as the Commodores walking back to the dugout so far. Ciccone trying to escape this inning with just 1 run allowed.
So now Davis Sims, the redshirt junior first baseman, digs in from the right side. Sims played this past season at Murray State. He's set to transfer to Western Kentucky in the fall. First pitch from Ciccone. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher, Clark, as he keeps that ball in front of him for ball 1. 2 down here in the top of the first. Falmouth on top of Orleans, 1-0. Sims enters the night batting .255 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs. He's starting to heat up a little bit for the Commodores, batting .333 over the last 5 games. The 1-0. Fastball on the outside corner, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The Kentucky native unstraps the batting gloves, now digs back in from the right side. Pants down for Sims, sporting the road black uniform with gray pants. Ciccone comes set at the chest. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball lifted out to deep left field. Groshans ranging back, turns around, and this ball is gone. A moonshot off the bat of Davis Sims, his 4th home run of the summer, and the Commodores take an early 3-0 lead here at Eldridge Park.
That was a no-doubt shot. Jax Groshans took 2 steps and then simply stopped, went back to his position, and a tough start again for an Orleans starting pitcher. It's becoming a very, very troublesome trend. Just puts your team in a massive hole straight out of the gate, and 3 early runs for the Commodores.
Orleans entered the night pitching-wise. Middle of the pack, 6th in ERA, tied for 2nd in WHIP, but tied for 2nd in most home runs allowed. And that's where Orleans has gotten bitten in the back. So now the switch hitting shortstop Logan Davidson digs in from the left side. First pitch, a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. An early 3-0 lead in favor of Falmouth here in the top of the first. Clemson shortstop digs back in from the left side, 0-1. Fastball hit to the right side, gloved by the second baseman Steer. He'll take his time and toss to Wyatt in plenty of time for the final out of the inning. But not before the Commodores score 3 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and nobody left on base. Well, to the home half of the first here at Eldridge Park. 3-0 to score in favor of Falmouth. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Commodores on top of the Firebirds 3-0 as we head to the home half of the first inning here at Eldridge Park. Let's give you the Firebirds starting 9 tonight, presented by Kelly Nicholson. Leading things off for the first time this summer in the leadoff spot, Matt Frazier, the center fielder. Hitting second and playing right field, J.J. Wade, the 3-hitter Spencer Steer at man second base. Batting cleanup and playing first base is Logan Wyatt. The DH Nick Osborne bats 5th. Playing left field and batting 6th is Jax Groshans. The catcher Phil Clark hits 7th. Batting 8th and at the hot corner is Justin Levy. And rounding out the order for the Firebirds is the shortstop Andrew Martinez. And on the mound for the Falmouth Commodores, the stingy Matt Canarino, already sporting a 3-0 lead.
And that's exactly right, Josh. Canarino, a guy who's already been dialed in, has allowed just 1 earned run through the first 13 2/3 innings pitched this summer for the Commodores. Now you add in a 3-run cushion right out of the gate. That just puts even more confidence on his side of things. It's going to be an uphill battle already for Orleans. Doesn't help that a very strong starting pitcher's out there for the Commodores.
Very interesting start to this Orleans lineup as the center fielder from Arizona will dig in from the left side. Frazier just batting a .149 through his first 23 games, but getting the starting nod in center field, batting leadoff. Righty on lefty matchup as Canarino gets a sign, kicks and fires first pitch. Fastball that misses outside for ball 1. Very interesting delivery for Canarino. Starts with the glove in front of the face, then comes set, wheels the hands above the head, and kicks and fires. Here's the 1-0. Fastball that catches the inside corner at the knees of Frazier, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Frazier coming off an 0-for-1 night with a strikeout. He came in as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning and recorded the final out of the ballgame. 1-1. Fastball cut on and missed, and now Canarino jumps ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes. Frazier batted .266 this past year at Arizona with 2 home runs and 28 RBIs. Canarino working quickly. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball chopped up the first base line and foul. And we'll do it again at 1-2.
And as strange as it may seem, batting only .149 so far this summer, but perhaps Kelly Nicholson just trying to put some confidence in the young man. He struggled so far. Put him in the leadoff spot, see what he can do.
He's a kid that has his OBP almost 100 points higher. Very good sign for a hitter. 1-2 pitch. Fastball lifted down the left field line. Brennan giving chase down the line in foul territory. And he does not make the grab as that ball runs out of play. And we'll do it again at 1-2.
There was a very good inside-out swing from Matt Frazier, sending that baseball the other way. And with his speed, if he could just find a gap, it could be extra bases. And with that speed aspect, and like you said, the OBP numbers where they are, he's really not a bad candidate to be a leadoff hitter. It's just whether or not he can turn things around at the plate. And it's really just an interesting story to watch because we say it time after time. His swing is beautiful. It is there. The results just haven't shown yet.
So the 6'3" Fresno, California native trots back from second base, picks up the bat, and digs back in for the left side. Canarino kicks and fires. Here's the 1-2. Fastball rolled up the first base line off the front foot of Frazier. A good battle here by Matt to draw a lot of pitches from Canarino.
Perfect job as a leadoff batter. Really any hitter, but especially that first one. You are going to be able to go back to the dugout and report on multiple things. The release point, the movement on pitches. That is your job. So Matt Frazier's already done a perfect job as a leadoff hitter right here.
Pat DeMarco, the usual leadoff hitter for the Birds, getting his first night off of the summer. 1-2 pitch. Fastball fouled back to the screen as Frazier fights off another one on the inside part of the plate. And we'll do it again at 1-2. DeMarco's played in 27 consecutive ball games for the Birds, getting a deserving day off. As Frazier unstraps the batting gloves, corks the bat, steps back in from the left side. 3-0 to score in favor of Falmouth. The 1-2 once again. Fastball lifted up to shallow left field. The shortstop Davidson giving chase. A couple steps on the outfield grass, and he makes the play battling the sun for the first out of the inning.
And yes, it's an out, but like we talked about, that is a phenomenal AB for Matt Frazier, and he deserves to be dapped up when he runs back to the dugout because he made Canarino work a lot, and he's going to, like I said earlier, going to be able to report a lot of information about what he saw.
It's now J.J. Boudet, the right fielder from Vanderbilt, will dig in from the left side, and a special visitor in the house for J.J., his college head coach, Tim Corbin, entering his 18th year in the ballpark tonight. First pitch to Boudet, fastball that misses low and inside for ball 1. Corbin will join us later in the broadcast in the top of the 6th inning as Braden Bell will get a chance to talk with him. But Corbin getting a look at his right fielder, the 1-0. Fastball lifted the other way down the left field line and foul as this runs out of play onto Route 28. And it'll even count at 1 ball and 1 strike. But having a good summer so far, one of 2 All-Stars for the Birds, batting .333 with a couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. Canarino kicks and fires the 1-1. Fastball that runs low and inside just above the shoot tops of Boudet. That'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Boudet coming off a good night at the plate where he went 2 for 4 with an extra base hit. 2-1. Fastball corked to the right side, cracking the bat, gloved by Julian. He'll toss the first base in time. 2 up and 2 down. Hitters start the home half of the first.
You mentioned how Tim Corbin is in attendance. Obviously, all these players always have a lot to play for with the scouts that are in attendance each and every night. But even a little more so, perhaps, when your college coach is here trying to show off for him. And you know, DeMarco not getting the night in the lineup, but Boudet and Clark, without a doubt, going to try to push a little more to show off for their coach.
So now Spencer Steer digs in from the right side. First pitch, a breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 1. Falmouth out to an early 3-0 lead with 2 down in the bottom of the first. Steer digs back in from the right side, the Long Beach, California native. Now the Birds' second baseman calls time after Canarino releases the pitch, but the home plate umpire granted the timeout. Steer batting .310 so far with 4 home runs and 18 RBIs to his first 24 games. Righty on righty matchup. Canarino kicks and fires the 0-1. Fastball on the outside corner, and Canarino jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Steer's had tremendous success at home here at Eldridge Park, batting .356 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs. 0-2 pitch from Canarino. Breaking ball that loops low and outside, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Spencer starting to turn it on as well of late, batting .400 on this 5-game hit streak. 5'11" infielder digs back in. Here's the 1-2 from the right-hander. Breaking ball that just misses outside after a couple Falmouth Commodores started to walk off the infield grass, and we'll do it at 2-2. So Steer trying to extend the inning here for the Birds. Here's the 2-2 from Canarino. Fastball misses low and away. A good AB here from Spencer Steer, and that runs the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Something's got to give here at 3-2. Here's the pitch from Canarino. Breaking ball looped down the first base line, tailing out of play. Sims gave chase near the Birds' dugout, but this runs onto the other side of the netting here at Eldridge Park, a souvenir for a lucky fan.
It's 2 of the 3 ABs so far for Orleans. Very good job. Hasn't resulted in anything yet, but you keep grinding and the results will come.
Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball once again lifted down the first base side near the Orleans dugout. Sims giving chase, and he runs out of play once again as this one runs off the light post just over the first base dugout. Another good AB for a Firebird, and we'll do it again at 3-2. So Orleans trying to strike and answer back after Falmouth scored 3 of their own in the top half. Canarino stares in for his sign from Miser. Wheels and deals. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, ring him up, strike 3. Steer doesn't like the call, but Canarino picks up his first strikeout of the night, and the Birds are retired in order. What to the top of the second here at Eldridge Park. Falmouth all over Orleans 3-0. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Falmouth 3, Orleans nothing as we head to the top of the second inning here at Eldridge Park. It'll be the bottom third of the order for the Commodores. Cameron Cannon, Edward Julian, and Herbert Iser set to face Corey Giacone. So the third baseman from Arizona digs in from the right side, batting .219 through his first 28 games. A rough first inning for Giacone, who got tagged for 3 runs. First pitch from the right-hander. Fastball hit on a line down the third base line and foul, ricocheting off the third base coach, Brett Becker, for strike 1. Cannon, the Phoenix, Arizona native, unstraps the batting gloves, sporting the number 26 written in maroon on the back of the black jerseys. Great pants for the Commodores tonight. 0-1 pitch from Giacone. Fastball that just misses outside above the letters of Cannon, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. For the Birds, it's their white home vest with red shirts coming out of the underside. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball that ties up Cannon, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Giacone had not given up an earned run through his first 3 appearances, but making his first start of the summer, getting tagged for 3 in the first inning. Right-hander wheels and deals. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball fisted out to shallow center field. Frazier giving chase on the run in. He calls for the ball with the hands in the air and makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Nice play by Matt Frazier. There's no chance Jax Groshans was going to get there. He was faded over pretty far left, and Andrew Martinez was battling the sun, so it was Matt Frazier's ball all the way, and as a center fielder, that's the play you have to make on a full dead sprint. Was able to do so.
So 1 down here in the top of the second as the second baseman from Auburn, Edward Julian, digs in from the left side. First pitch from the right-hander, Giacone. Breaking ball that misses low and inside, just above the shoot tops of Julian for ball 1. 3-0 to score in favor of Falmouth here in the top of the second. Julian struggling so far this summer, just batting $127, the 1-0. Fastball that paints the inside corner at the knees of Julian, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Julian struggling so far this summer against both right-handers and left-handers, just batting $154 from the right side. 1-1. Fastball hit on the line right to the third base dugout. Clips off Maverick Hanley. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Corey Giacone 1 strike away from picking up his 3rd K of the night. Southeastern Louisiana line toes the rubber from the first base side. Quebec, Canada native, digs back in, waving the tan and black bat in the air over the left shoulder. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice goalie stop by the catcher, Clark. And that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Julian, a freshman All-American this past season for the Tigers, had the most RBIs in a single season by a freshman at Auburn. 2-2. Breaking ball fisted back behind the plate, down the left field side, and runs out of play onto the highway. And we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Julian's a classic example of why this league can be so difficult. You mentioned all those numbers. A great year he had at Auburn, batting just .127 in the CCBL.
2-2 pitch. Fastball that just misses inside. Phil Clark took a couple steps ready to fire that ball around the horn. That ball ran inside, and that'll run the count full at 3-2. That RBI total for Julian, 1 more than Frank Thomas had. Payoff pitch. Fastball hit to the right side. Diving stop by Logan White, but this goes under his glove and rolls into right field. A 1-out single for Edward Julian, and he's aboard for the Falmouth Commodores.
Solid piece of hitting for Julian. Don't let those numbers fool you like we were just talking about. The kid knows how to rake from the left side and just finding a hole. That's your job as a hitter occasionally. You can't hit every ball out of the ballpark or square it up into a gap. Find a hole. It counts as good as everything else, and that's what Julian did just right there.
So Herbert Iser, the catcher, digs in from the left side, with Ciccone now working at the stretch. First pitch. Fastball right down the heart of the plate for strike one. Iser just batting .200 so far, but has only played in 4 games for Jeff Trundy and the Commodores. Julian leads off first base, has not attempted a stolen base. Here's the 0-1. Fastball lifted out to right center field. Bidet giving chase. Frazier coming on, and he can't get there as this kicks off the fence. Julian digging around third base. He'll get the wave around home. The throw to the plate will not be in time. It's a 2 RBI double. I beg your pardon, it's a 1 RBI double for Herbert Iser. And the Falmouth Commodores lead 4-0.
All Commodores so far. This offense rolling just like the last time they were at Eldridge Park. A beautifully placed ball for Herbert Iser, and with this large center field at Eldridge Park, created even a tougher route for Frazier to have to take. He did cut the ball off, but not all the way until the warning track, and allowed the runner to come all the way around for first base to score.
So that'll flip it back to the top of the lineup for the Commodores. Will Brennan, the left fielder from Kansas State. He digs in from the left side. First pitch from Ciccone. Fastball hit on the ground, backhanded by the third baseman Levy. He drops the baseball, now throws to wide in time to record Brennan out on a 5-3 putout. That holds Iser at second base. So there's 2 away here in the top of the second inning, with the Commodores on top of the Birds 4-0. Now Maverick Hanley, the DH from Stanford, will dig in from the right side. Hanley, one of 2 strikeout victims tonight already for Corey Ciccone. He went down looking his first time around. Righty on righty matchup. Ciccone set at the chest. First pitch. Curveball on the outside corner for strike one. That's been Ciccone's go-to pitch so far tonight, really commanding that curveball on both sides of the plate. Stanford catcher manning the DH spot tonight for Jeff Trundy. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball that misses low and inside, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Hanley just stands at 5'10", $195. Has had great success off of righties so far this summer compared to the southpaws. Batting .250 with a .707 OPS. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Another curveball that runs low and outside, and that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Hanley's reached in 6 consecutive ball games entering the night. Trying to extend it to 7 right here. Josh Hendrickson, the southpaw committed to San Diego, starts to get loose for the Birds down the right field line. Here's the 2-1. Fastball lifted into shallow right center field. Frazier running on, dives, and makes the catch. What a catch by Matt Frazier, running all out to his left, robbing Maverick Hanley of an extra base hit, and that will retire the side here at Eldridge Park. The Commodores score 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 run left on base. Went to the home half of the second here at Eldridge Park. Commodores 4 and Firebirds nothing. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Falmouth leads 4-0 over Orleans as we head to the home half of the second inning here at Eldridge Park. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Firebirds. Logan White, Nick Osborne, and Jax Groshans set to face Matt Canarino. But what a play by Matt Frazier on an all-out sprint running in the right center field gap to rob Maverick Hanley of an RBI extra base hit.
We've been spoiled with some fantastic catches out in center field this year. Of course, Brandon White was great. Pat DeMarco's made a few highlight reel catches, but how about Matt Frazier putting his name in that group? Full extension diving grab in right center field, not only to end the inning, but to save a run from coming home to score as well. Just all-out great effort and hustle from Frazier.
So Logan Wyatt, the left-handed hitting first baseman, will dig in for the Birds, trying to trip at this 4-0 deficit. Wyatt batting .281 with 3 home runs and 13 RBIs. Righty on lefty matchup. Cantorino kicks and fires. Here's the first pitch. Fastball that paints the inside corner at the belt of Wyatt for strike 1. Wyatt coming off a 2-for-4 night with a strikeout against YD. He's reached base in 13 consecutive ball games. Here's the 0-1. Fastball cut on and missed by the left-handed swinging first baseman, and Cantorino jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Wyatt's reached in all but 2 games this summer so far for Orleans, making his 30th start for Kelly Nicholson. Cantorino kicks and fires. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball that runs low and inside, just by the shoot tops of Wyatt. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Herbert Iser trying to think that was strike 3 and throw the ball down. We've seen a very stingy strike zone behind the plate so far. Here's the 1-2. Fastball hit on a line out to right field. Stowers ranging in, and this one dinks in front of him. It's a single for Logan Wyatt, the first hit of the ball game for the Birds, and there's one on here in the bottom of the second.
It's a classic base hit for Logan Wyatt. Didn't necessarily kill the baseball, but the guy just knows where to place the ball, or he knows when to lay off that pitch, or he knows when to lead into that pitch. He just has that it factor, if you will, that psyche you can't teach, and he is just such a special player to watch.
So the DH from Tennessee Tech digs in from the right side with Wyatt leading off at first. First pitch. Breaking ball that gets the outside corner for strike 1. We've seen a very interesting delivery from Cantorino. Becomes even more interesting out of the stretch. Comes set with the hands near the head. Kicks and fires wildly. 0-1. Hit on a line out to left field. Brennan ranging back. He's at the track. Looks up. And this ball is gone. The 7th home run of the summer for Nick Osborne. He ties the CCBL lead. And he cuts the deficit in half. It's 4-2 in favor of the Falmouth Commodores.
A frozen rope screamer off the bat of Nick Osborne. Line drive, and just like that, the Birds cut this early 4-0 deficit in half with one swing of the bat from Quickly. Like you said, the league leader in home run, now tied at the top, Nick Osborne.
Osborne has not disappointed all summer long. 7 home runs through his first 17 games. Now Jax Groshans digs in. First pitch tipped into the glove of Iser for strike 1. It's always been a very interesting story to document what Osborne could have been. It was supposed to just be a pitcher here in the Cape. 0-1. Breaking ball that runs upstairs. And then that'll make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Groshans, the hero from last night's game for Orleans, drove in both of the runs for the Firebirds. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball that runs low and inside, and then I'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Groshans makes 16 games due to a hamstring injury, but that's also compounded by being away with the Kansas baseball team at the World University Games. Waving the bat over the right shoulder. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball lifted down the right field line. Sims giving chase in fair territory, just on the outfield grass, and makes the catch in fair territory for the first out of the inning.
But back to Nick Osborne. What a beautiful swing. Just a fluid stroke. He told me yesterday before the game, sometimes in college he'll watch Bryce Harper videos. He tries to mimic his swing, obviously from the other side of the plate. Just that violent, controlled swing through the zone, elevating everything. And Osborne certainly doing a great job of elevating pitches so far this summer.
It's now Phil Clark, the catcher from Vanderbilt, digs in. First pitch. Fastball misses outside for ball 1. You talk about Nick Osborne. He'll be competing in the Home Run Derby himself this upcoming Sunday at White House Field in Harwich. 1-0 pitch from Cantorino. Breaking ball cut on and missed by Clark. And that'll even it again at 1 ball and 1 strike. Franklin, Tennessee native, batting .231 with 1 home run and 5 RBIs through his first 18 games this summer. Cantorino kicks and fires. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball chopped into the front side of Clark, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Clark came on as a pinch hitter last night, striking out in 3 pitches, going 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. 5'11", rising sophomore digs back in from the left side. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball that Clark lays off of in the dirt, and that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 4-2 the score in favor of Falmouth here in the bottom of inning number 2. Left-handed swinging catcher digs back in from the left side. Cantorino shakes off the catcher Iser. Now comes set, kicks and fires. Here's the 2-2. Fastball runs lower to inside, just at the shin level of Clark. That'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the freshman All-American trying to pick up the third hit of the inning for the Birds and put the tying run at the plate. Here's the path pitch from Canarino. Fastball on the outside corner, ring him up, strike 3. Clark doesn't like the call, and he'll walk back to the Birds' dugout with his head pointed down. Back-to-back outs recorded by Canarino.
I think the easiest way to put it is an inconsistent zone so far tonight by David Gonzalez, the home plate umpire. It truly has been something the Birds have struggled to adapt to. Twice now we've seen Orleans hitters walk away kind of stunned with strike 3 called.
So Justin Levy, the right-handed hitting third baseman, digs in. First pitch. Breaking ball chop to the shortstop Davidson. He'll corral the baseball, fires to first in time, and the side is retired. But not before the Birds scored 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. The 7th long ball of the summer for Nick Osborne. And he's put the Birds right back in this ball game. What at the top of the 3rd here at Eldridge Park. 4-2 the score in favor of Falmouth. You're listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Commodores lead the Firebirds 4-2 as we head to the top of the 3rd inning here at Eldridge Park. It'll be the heart of the lineup for Falmouth. Kyle Stowers, Matt Wallner, and Davis Sims set to face Corey Ciccone out for his 3rd inning of work. It's turned into a little bit of a slugfest between 2 of the struggling offensive teams so far this summer. It was Sims going yard in the 1st, Osborne in the 2nd. So Stowers, the right fielder from Stanford, digs in from the left side. Ciccone stares in for his sign from Clark, kicks and fires. First pitch. Breaking ball that runs low and inside for ball 1.
If you're Kelly Nicholson and company, you still have Hendrickson warming up at the bullpen, but you're hoping that Ciccone can kind of turn this around and provide some depth.
1-0 pitch. Fastball catch the inside corner, and that'll even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Stowers doubled in a run his first time up, scoring Brennan all the way from second base. 1-1 pitch. Fastball that runs low and inside, and that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Stowers teammates with Eric Miller on the Orleans side out of Stanford. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball chopped back behind the plate. And then it'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about how laid back he was. That paid off in his first AB where he had an RBI double and later came around to score on the home run. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball lifted down the left field line, tailing out of play. And this runs towards the direction of the police station down the 3rd base line. And that'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Ciccone trying to pick up his 3rd strikeout of the night. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball fisted down the left field line once again and out of play. And we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the 6'3" outfielder digs back in. Ciccone waggles the glove in front of the face. Now the Stanford Cardinal calls time. Ciccone nods the head to Clark. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball fouled back behind the plate. Clark giving chase as this runs out of play up the 3rd base line into the force over Route 28. So we'll do it once again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 4-2 the score in favor of Falmouth here in the top of the 3rd inning. 6'3" El Cajon, California native digs back in for the left side. Ciccone shakes off the sign, kicks and fires. Here's the 2-2. Fastball on a broken bat, grounded to the first baseman White. He'll take it to the bag himself. An easy out for Corey Ciccone, and there's 1 away in the top of the 3rd.
Good job that time by Ciccone as Stowers was putting together a nice battle at the plate, but Corey did not back down, still located all of his pitches, and ended up winning that battle for big out number 1.
So Matt Wallner, the center fielder from Southern Mississippi, will dig in from the left side. One of 5 lefty bats in this lineup for the Commodores. First pitch. Fastball rolled up the 3rd base line. Levy charging. This ball rolls out of play for strike one. A swinging bunt off the bat of Wallner that just dribbled foul. Wallner 0 for 1 tonight, struck out swing his first time around. 6'5", Forest Lake, Minnesota native retreats back from first base, picks up the all-tan bat, wipes it between the legs, and now gets set to dig in. Wallner sporting the black and yellow cleats, fitting for his Southern Mississippi pride. 0-1. Fastball fouled back behind home plate to the left side of third base, and that'll make the count no balls and 2 strikes. So the rising junior digs back in, trying to pick up a hit right here for the Commodores. 0-2. Breaking ball tipped to Clark, but he can't hold on. So we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Wallner, a 2018 All-American at Southern Mississippi. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball corked down the first base line and foul onto the reach of the first base coach, Tony Caldwell. And we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes.
Wallner, a kid who's really a big-time addition to this lineup. The kid can just flat-out hit 351 this past year at Southern Mississippi.
0-2 pitch. Fastball hit on a line out to right field, but Day chasing it near the fence, and this ball is out of here. The second home run of the summer for Matt Wallner as he tees off of Corey Giacone. The second long ball of the day for the Falmouth Commodores, and it's 5-2 in favor of Falmouth.
It's really turning into a slugfest as that ball at first looked like it was going to be a double off the wall, nothing more, but it continued to carry, and by the time it got to the wall, had just enough elevation to sneak over the top of it. Like you said, the 3rd homer overall this game, second by Falmouth, and they immediately get one of those 2 runs back.
So Davis Sims, the first baseman, digs in. First pitch. Fastball that runs outside for ball 1. Sims homered his first time around, driving in Stowers as well. 5-2 the score in favor of the Commodores. The 1-0. Fastball chopped down the third base line and foul. And that'll even count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Corey Giacone entered the night not giving up a single earned run through his first 3 appearances. He's been tagged for 5 already. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball that fools Sims on a loopy swing. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So not an ideal start here for the Birds, trailing just in the 3rd inning by 3 runs. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball that runs low and outside, and that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sims, the Murray State product, set to go to Western Kentucky. Giacone kicks and fires the 2-2. Breaking ball fought off by Sims just behind the plate. And we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Really just a big-time homer by Wallner. After what Osborne did last half, you got to sense the Birds were ready to battle and stay in this ball game. And now the hill just larger again, and it's really just tough to come back from home run after home run.
Giacone shakes off the sign from Clark, kicks and fires the 2-2. Fastball hit on the rope into center field, a base hit for Davis Sims. He's aboard for the 2nd time tonight as he's 2 for 2. And the Commodores have a 1-out single here in the top of the 3rd.
That ball crushed off the bat of Davis Sims. We don't have the exit velocity on it, but if we did, you got to assume that was a screaming liner, and it looks like that might be end of the night for Corey Giacone as Kelly Nicholson coming out from the dugout.
So Nicholson will take the ball from the right-hander from southeastern Louisiana. As Josh Hendrickson, the southpaw, committed to San Diego, will enter the ball game as Giacone will trot back to the Birds dugout with the Commodores leading this thing 5-2. We'll step aside for a short break here at Eldridge Park. Listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. The Falmouth Commodores lead the Orleans Firebirds 6-2 with one down in the top of the third, with Davis Sims leading off at first base. New pitcher into the ball game. It's the southpaw from San Diego, Josh Hendrickson, making his 7th appearance of the summer. The Australian native 1-0 with a 4.51 ERA. Last pitched 8 days ago for the Birds at Katuitt, where he went 4 innings, giving up 5 runs for them earned, and he'll take on this Falmouth Commodores offense that ranks last in the Cape, but they put up 6 runs in the early going.
Well, the ball's in Josh Hendrickson's court now. See if he can pick up Ciccone for the rest of this inning and then provide some depth. It's going to be in long relief tonight. Kelly Nicholson would love if he could go 4 or 5 innings for this team and try to keep it as a ball game, because this Falmouth lineup, not known for their offense usually, but they have been slugging the baseball around the yard so far.
So the switch hitting shortstop from Clemson, Logan Davidson, will dig in from the right side. Switched around with the southpaw, Josh Hendrickson on the mound. Sims leads off first base, the Murray State product committed to Western Kentucky. First pitch from Hendrickson. Fastball runs low and inside for ball 1. Davidson 0 for 1 tonight. Grounded out to Spencer Steer at second base to end the first inning. Longster in from the southpaw. He now comes set at the belt. 1-0 pitch from Hendrickson. Looping curveball that catches the inside corner. And that'll even at the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Davidson just batting $174 with 1 home run and 7 RBIs through his first 24 games. Has really struggled lately for the Commodores. 1-1 from Hendrickson. Fastball that runs just low and outside, and then I'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. In the last 10 games, Davidson just batting $108. He's really struggled since returning from the home run derby on July 1st in Omaha, Nebraska. 2-1 pitch from Hendrickson. Breaking ball that runs low and outside, and then I'll make the count 3 balls and 1 strike. 6'3", 190-foot-pound Seneca, South Carolina native, a projected top 10 overall pick in the 2019 MLB draft. 3-1 pitch. Fastball runs low and inside, ball 4. The first walk of the evening for Josh Hendrickson, who just came into the ball game. The Commodores have 2 on and 1 out here in the top of the third.
That's the problem with coming in with a runner already aboard. Now you're in a situation where there's a runner in scoring position just like that. 4 balls, and the pressure even more on Josh Hendrickson as things continuing just to rattle out of control a little bit for this Orleans pitching staff.
So Cameron Cannon digs in from the right side. First pitch from the southpaw. Fastball hit on a line out to left center field. Arizona teammate Matt Frazier ranging over. He'll make the catch. Draw the throw will be Sims, but he's not going anywhere. So Cannon lies out to his teammate once again, and there's 2 away in the top of the third. And Jeff Trundy coming out to have a conversation about something, saying that Cannon called time. And Trundy is not happy at all with the home plate umpire. Pointing that right hand, trying to plead his case. And now the umpires will meet together and talk things over. As a 20th year skipper not happy with the call, and Cannon sticking around near the dish trying to get another chance.
I'm still not really sure what they're talking about. Trundy not happy, and obviously, like you said, Cannon hasn't left the playing surface yet. I don't know if he's arguing for a catcher's interference or what. Seemed like a pretty routine fly ball to me, but the conversation now taking place.
The umpires converge. David Gonzalez, William Peck, and Richard Galvin. And Gonzalez will point down to first base and now call out Kelly Nicholson. So Cannon will be awarded first base, is what appears to be a catcher's interference would be the only explanation, as looked like a routine flyout to his Arizona teammate. So Kelly Nicholson with the arms crossed is trying to get the explanation from Gonzalez, and Nicholson explaining his case now on the other side, and Kelly's not happy. Kelly does not look happy with his call at all.
No, he's not happy at all. I mean, his pitcher comes in, walks the first batter, then gets a flyout. A simple argument after the play was made, and we talked about it last night, how they normally don't change the call. Well, maybe people should start arguing more. Kelly Nicholson not happy at all.
Kelly Nicholson right in the grill of David Gonzalez, pleading his case with his hands out in front. And Edward Julian, who's due to bat next, asking Phil Clark if it hit his glove, and Clark said no. And Kelly is irate right now, pointing and starting to raise his voice a little bit at Gonzalez, and now he'll appeal down to the first base umpire. And again, this could be a little Kelly Nicholson trying to get his team rallied up, his team trailing early in the ball game for a struggling team.
Yeah, and that could obviously be a strategy, but I definitely see why Nicholson would be unhappy. I mean, it was such a late call. Sure, he convened with his umpire crew, but I don't get it.
And Kelly is now starting to raise his voice, and I mean, you would think the umpire would call that right away, or Cannon would react right away saying it hit my glove and complain.
So you hear Kelly Nicholson say, you can hear Kelly Nicholson saying that he missed it the first time, and the home plate umpire responds with, I missed it the first time, I got it right the second time. So a very, very heated Kelly Nicholson. You don't hear that very often from a guy that's normally very calm.
So a catcher's interference called, and Nicholson not happy with the call at all. But that'll load the bases here for the Commodores, leading already in this ball game, 5-2. So now Edward Julian digs in. First pitch from the southpaw. Breaking ball on the inside corner, called strike one. So the base is full here for the Commodores. Cannon leads off first after the catcher's interference. Davidson off a second, and Sims 90 feet away. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, check swing by Julian. He did not go around, says the third base umpire. And that'll even get it 1 ball and 1 strike.
I love the passion of Kelly Nicholson, though. He was unhappy. First time we've really heard him scream at an umpire. And there's been some questionable calls, but it's possibly a few things boiling over. The strike zone's been inconsistent. Then you get a very delayed call like that.
The 1-1. Breaking ball, nice stop by the catcher Clark, and that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And we could hear Kelly vocally, and obviously he's got a good point. Why didn't Cannon react right away? Why did the bat swing fully through?
He ran all the way down to first base before complaining.
2-1 pitch here from Hendrickson. Fastball that misses outside, and that'll make the count 3 balls and 1 strike, and the Birds not catching any breaks with the strikes out of David Gonzalez. So bases full here with 1 down in the top of the third. 3-1 pitch from the southpaw. Fastball hit on a line out to left field. Groshun's ranging back, couple steps in front of the track, makes the catch. As David Sims tagging in from third base, the throw to the plate, not in time, as Phil Clark can't believe the call. The throw down to second base in time. So a 7-2-4 double play, and David Gonzalez making a call that the Orleans dugout can't believe. It looked like the throw beat the runner from third base in time, but a sacrifice fly off the bat of Edward Julian, as Clark able to throw out Cannon tagging up for second base. So the Commodores scored 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 run left on base. What the bottom third here at Eldridge Park? It's 6-2 in favor of Falmouth. You're listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. (6-2) the score in favor of Falmouth as we head to the home half of the third here at Eldridge Park. That'll be 9-1-2 for Orleans. Andrew Martinez, Matt Frazier, and J.J. Boudet. But Orleans not too happy with that call from the home plate umpire, David Gonzalez. And not just 1 call, 2 calls. A catcher's interference that Orleans thought should have gone the other way, and then a play at the plate.
Normally we try to stay out of these things, but Two blown calls. I mean, that's a frank way to put it. The argument from Skip was fair. The call at home was blown. No doubt about it.
So now Andrew Martinez, the shortstop from UC Santa Barbara, digs in from the right side. First pitch from the right-hander. Fastball on the outside corner, called strike one. Matt Canarino has been pretty solid so far tonight. Did give up that two-run shot off the bat of Nick Osborne, but has not been touched otherwise. Here's the 0-1. Fastball fouled back to the screen behind home plate, and Canarino jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Martinez playing in his 9th game this summer for the Firebirds, just batting $158 with 1 RBI. The rising redshirt sophomore digs back in from the right side. Canarino gets the sign, kicks and fires. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball that Martinez just gets a piece of, fouls it off of the home plate umpire Gonzalez, as he'll need a moment, and we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. So the catcher, Herbert Iser, will come out to talk to Canarino to buy Gonzalez a minute behind the plate.
We've now seen a couple of memorable umpire exchanges here at Eldridge Park. Kelly Nicholson somehow avoiding being ejected both times. Of course, the foul slam when Sam Finn called a fair ball and a grand slam as well.
I think my favorite part of this Kelly Nicholson argument is that you know you're wrong. That's why you didn't throw me out.
Yep.
He was very vocal.
I mean, that's a fair point.
0-2 pitch from Canarino. Breaking ball on the inside corner, bring him up, strike 3. Andrew Martinez can't believe the call. The 3rd strikeout of the night for Matt Canarino. And there's one down in the home half of the 3rd.
Now it's just adding insult to injury. It's like every pitch that's close from now on, even if it goes against Orleans and probably was a strike, it's going to, kind of just jeer at Kelly Nicholson just the way this game's been going.
So Matt Frazier digs in for the 2nd time tonight. First pitch from the right-hander. Fastball in there for a strike at the letters of the Birds center fielder. Frazier 0 for 1 tonight, popped up to the shortstop Davidson back in the 1st. Canarino kicks and fires. Here's the 0-1. Fastball fouled back to the screen behind home plate. Now Canarino jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. 6-2 the score in favor of Falmouth with 1 down in the home half of the 3rd. This game with a little bit of controversy in the early going, to say the least. Frazier struggling at the plate so far this summer, just batting $149. Digs back in from the left side. Canarino stares in. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball that just misses outside, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good eye by Matt Frazier, and yeah, controversy is a good way to put it. Orleans certainly not happy with the way it's been going. Started with bad pitching and then some bad umpire.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball chopped up the first base line near the Orleans dugout. And we'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fresno, California native trying to reach for the first time tonight. He's really struggled so far this summer offensively for Orleans. He's played very strong defensively on the other side, making a fantastic catch already in this ballgame. 1-2. Breaking ball that fools Frazier as he can't hold up. The throw from the catcher, Iser down to first base in time. Back-to-back strikeouts for Matt Canarino here to begin the bottom of the 3rd.
But on the flip side, yes, Orleans is playing bad baseball right now. Yes, they think they've been, dealt some bad cards with the umpire's calls so far, but nobody's going to feel bad for them. Falmouth isn't going to stop competing. They're playing a very solid baseball game so far. The score represents that, and Orleans can't stop and, complain and stop playing the game of baseball. They got to try to put together some good ABs and come back in this game.
So J.J. Blade digs in from the left side. First pitch, a fastball that runs inside. Almost nicks Blade as he's able to run out of the way for ball 1. 6-2 the score in favor of Falmouth with 2 away in the home half of the 3rd. Blade 0 for 1 tonight on a crackback ground out back in the 1st inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Canarino. Fastball that catch the inside corner, and then I'll even count at 1 ball and 1 strike. They entered the night batting .333 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. Here's the 1-1 from the right-hander. Fastball that runs inside as Blade moves out of the way. And that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Blade, one of 2 all-stars for the Birds this summer. Kevin Kelly, the other one. He should make an appearance before that All-Star game later this week. An average for Blade. Stood 3rd in the CCBL. Here's the 2-1. Fastball fouled to shallow second base. Julian makes the play, and the side is retired. So 6 batters set down in a row by Matt Canarino as he has settled in for the Falmouth Commodores. Well, up to the top of the 4th here at Eldridge Park. I'll hand the play-by-play duties to Braden Bell. Falmouth 6 and Orleans 2. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network.
Time for the top of the fourth inning here at Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Braden Bell, Josh White on the call. 6-2 Commodores on top of the Firebirds in a game marred in controversy, if you will, on the Orleans side so far. For Falmouth, they've just been slugging the baseball around the yard. It'll be started by Herbert Iser here in the top of the fourth. Iser had a ringing double to the right center field gap in his first AB of the night that scored Edward Julian. Josh Hendrickson back out on the bump for Orleans. He throws a first pitch curveball that catches the outside corner for strike number 1. So Giaccone's final line is over, giving up 6 runs, all of them earned, as strike 2 thrown on the outside corner, and quickly Hendrickson on top of Iser 0-2. So the Birds going to need a rally again here at Eldridge Park. That'll all start on defense, and Hendrickson does a good job to start this fourth inning. 3 pitches and a strikeout of Iser.
Good job by Josh Hendrickson, and all he can really do is just throw the baseball for strikes. He has no control over what's called behind the plate or what's being called other than that, but Hendrickson's been pretty reliable so far this summer for Orleans.
So left-handed batter from Kansas State, and Will Brennan will step in. This will be his third AB of the night already. He looks at ball 1, a fastball outside and low. Brennan 1 for 2 so far. He led off the ball game with a single and came around to score later in that inning. Hendrickson's 1-0 pitch to Brennan, a curveball that finds the strike zone, as Hendrickson always trusts that breaking pitch, and it's continued to be a strong suit so far on his early night. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. The lefty kicks and fires. Fastball outside and away. It's now 2 balls and a strike. Brennan originally from Stillwell, Kansas, 6 foot 190. Entering his junior year in Manhattan. A breaking ball, hit up the middle, fielded on the run by Andrew Martinez. His throw across the diamond in time to get the speedy leadoff batter for Falmouth. 2 up, 2 down here in the fourth.
And Braden, all Orleans can really do tonight is just play baseball. I mean, they don't have control over what the umps are going to call out there. They've caught a couple of tough breaks already, but they just got to keep playing the game, try and rally for some runs, because all the scoreboard showing right now is 6-2.
So Maverick Handley will dig in, the DH tonight for Falmouth. He was robbed of extra bases at an RBI in his last time up off of the Matt Frazier diving grab. First pitch swinging. It's another pop-up to Frazier. They will meet again, and Frazier again will get the best of him. A great inning for Josh Hendrickson. 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth here at Eldridge Park. Falmouth on top 6-2 here on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Six to the score. Falmouth over Orleans. It'll be Spencer Steer, Logan Wyatt, and Nick Osborne due up here in the home half of the fourth inning here in Orleans, Massachusetts. So Spencer Steer, a strikeout victim his first time. 1 of 4 so far against Matthew Canarino, a guy who's looked very solid besides 1 pitch tonight against Nick Osborne. The righty working all game long with run support as his team spotted him 3 in the top of the first. Delivers a breaking ball in there for strike number 1. Offense hasn't slowed down, scoring in 3 of the 4 runs for Falmouth. Comes the 0-1 pitch to Spencer Steer. A fastball swung on, popped over the net. It's quickly 0-2.
And the Birds, obviously, we've talked about the umpires a lot, just with the call and the catcher's interference and the call at the plate, but they've not gotten any help behind the plate either in terms of balls and strikes.
Very tight strike zone by David Gonzalez. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Another fine breaking ball that Steer's just able to tip off and stay alive. It's still 0-2. Spencer, a fantastic year so far, entering the game with a .310 batting average, tied for 4th in the league with 4 home runs, and tied for 4th in the league with 18 RBI. So a very productive season for the Oregon Duck. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Steer. A ball that goes low and in the dirt. A good eye by Steer not to chase it low. and it's 1-2. Orleans entering the night 4 points back of Harwich for third place. More importantly, 6 points up on the Brewster Whitecaps from the bottom position in the Eastern Division. Here comes the 1-2 to steer. Spencer swings over the top of a fastball in the inside half. It's a strikeout, and number 5 on the night for Canarino. The first out here at the bottom of the fourth.
Canarino's been dominant all summer long so far, just displaying that once again here, and not the day Orleans needed here, already trailing.
So Logan Wyatt now will dig in. He singled in his first AB. It dropped in front of Stowers, the right fielder. First pitch to Logan Wyatt, swung on, hit foul down the first base line. Wyatt, the average at 281 entering the game. 29 of them he's played in so far for Orleans, but it's the OBP that tells his story. It's sitting at a astronomical 463. Comes the 0-1 pitch to Wyatt. A fastball hit back up the middle. That'll find a hole, and it's a base hit for Logan Wyatt. As the first baseman from Louisville now 2 for 2 on the evening.
Yeah, good job by Logan once again, squaring up that baseball past the outstretched arm of Matt Canarino. And that's all Orleans can do is just try and get on base, score some runs offensively. I hope that translates into something. Wyatt did that last time, and then Osborne hit it out.
So it's Nick Osborne digging in, hit his 7th home run of the summer in just 17 games, his first time up tonight. Be competing in that home run hitting contest on Sunday in Harwich. First pitch high for ball number 1. Osborne just that fluid swing, controlled anarchy if you will. Tries to crush every baseball he swings at. Logan Wyatt leading off first base. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Osborne. It dips low out of the strike zone. It's quickly 2-0 to number 42, the DH for Orleans. Canarino trying to get the best of this middle part of the lineup, the only source of offense so far for Orleans. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Osborne. This a high fastball that misses, and the count now 3 balls and no strikes as Nick Osborne, you got to assume, will be taking a pitch here.
Braden, you know what? I let him turn it loose.
You let him turn it?
Give him the green light. He's a home run hitter. You're trailing in the game. You got nothing to lose.
We'll see if he does swing. The 3-0 pitch runs outside and low. A good eye by Osborne. It's a 4-pitch walk. And Wyatt and Osborne do what they do best. They both reach base as Jax Groshans will dig in with just 1 away and 2 aboard.
And a good eye there from Osborne. That ball definitely missed low and outside for sure. And good chance offensively for the Birds with only 1 out, and Jax Groshans coming off a good night.
6-2 the score in favor of Falmouth, and Jax Groshans will dig in. 3 for 4 with 2 RBI in his return to the Orleans Red last night. One swing of the bat could make this a game yet again. Groshans calls time before the first pitch, and now there will be a visit and a conversation between Iser and Canarino.
It appears that there's some soft tossing in the Falmouth bullpen. We were told before the game that it would be Canarino and then Spencer Strider. So we'll see if Strider will enter this ball game, whether it's in the 4th, 5th, or 6th.
So Strider expected to come in, and Hendrickson was the guy expected for Orleans. He's already in there due to the short outing from Jacone. Comes the pitch to Jax Groshans. It's low for ball number 1. Now 5 straight balls thrown out of the hand of Canarino, and the patient approach for the Firebirds perhaps reaping the benefits here in the bottom of the 4th. Groshans, just his 2nd game back in the Firebird lineup, swings away on the 1-0 pitch. Popped up to right field. Should be playable over there by Stowers. He makes the catch a step in front of the foul line. Tagging from second base, advancing to third is Logan Wyatt. But out number 2 recorded on an F9.
Good swing there by Groshans. Just got under that fastball on the outside part of the plate, lining it down the right field line just in front of the 314 sign. Good base running by Logan Wyatt to advance 90 feet, and got to give Falmouth credit for getting the throw to the right base.
So Phil Clark will dig in. Before that, Canarino will drop down to a knee and retie his left cleat. Pretty important to have tied laces out there on the bump. Phil Clark will try to get the job done for Orleans. 2 runners aboard. They're at the quarters for the lefty catcher from Vanderbilt. I should say left-handed batting catcher. You're the lefty catcher, Josh White. One of the only ones I know. A lost breed in the game of baseball. Comes the first pitch into Phil Clark. Swinging away on the first pitch. Fouled back to the net for strike number 1.
Now, I'm sure Phil could teach me a lot about the game. The one thing that I could teach him is to be a left-handed catcher. He's got a point. We could make Phil ambidextrous.
That would be a weapon I'm sure scouts would love. Probably not use at all, but it'd be a cool trait, I guess. No balls and a strike. Phil Clark trying to pick up an RBI for Orleans, but first a throw over to check on Nick Osborne. He dives back in headlong, gets the white jersey dirty, here at Orleans. Beautiful night for baseball. Wind not blowing at all. It was 72 degrees at first pitch. Pitch low into the dirt. Runners will not take off as Clark holds up his right hand and tells Logan Wyatt not to move too far. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count.
There's a big AB here for Clark, who struck out looking his last time around. We talked about Tim Corbin in the ballpark tonight, the Vanderbilt head coach. He'll be joining us in just a couple innings.
It'll be happening in the top of the 6th. Eliav Gabay will join us next frame. 2 special guests indeed. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Clark, swinging over the top of a breaking ball. And now Canarino just 1 pitch away from escaping this jam.
Now, I guess the question we can ask Eliav when he comes on. I don't want to ask Tim Corbin. I don't know him personally, but
yeah,
is he the more special guest tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, clearly, I mean, we love Eliav, but he pales in comparison. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Clark. It's low out of the strike zone, and a good AB for Phil Clark so far, as this count is equaled up to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, we appreciate everything Eliav does for OFBN, but he hasn't taken a baseball team to the College World Series 4 times. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Clark swings away, sends it over Route 28, and the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, what happens if I told you Eliav took like a JCC basketball team to like a championship? Doesn't count the same?
A summer camp counselor, Eliav Gabay? No, that does not count. It's not Omaha.
He's bragging about a silver medal, though.
It's a participation trophy. A throw over to check on Osborne. He dives back in safely. We're trying to regain some sense of normalcy on this broadcast. We veered way off course. The Firebirds have runners on the corners with 2 away. Wyatt stands at third, Osborne at second, and the 2-2 pitch to Phil Clark swung over the top of for strike number 3. A nice bounce-back inning for Canarino as he works through a bit of traffic, but is able to strike out 2 Firebirds in the process. And we will head to the 5th inning with a score of Falmouth 6, Orleans 2. We'll step away for a moment, be joined by Eliav Gabay, the second most important guest of the night, here on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park, and as we do at the beginning of every 5th inning, we're joined by Eliav Gabay at the broadcast table tonight. And Eliav, you had the chance to sit down and chat with Kenyon Yovan along with Graham Stinson, 2 guys that just rejoined this Firebirds roster after spending some time with the U.S. National Collegiate Team. I know they were over in Cuba, and a fascinating interview you had with them before the game as the first pitch in from Josh Hendrickson to leadoff hitter Kyle Stowers dips low for ball 1. So tell me about that conversation.
Yeah, hi, Braden. It's
How are
great
you?
to be on
Yeah,
with you.
it's a pleasure as always.
Yeah, it's a lot of respect going on around here, right? No, but actually, though, when it comes to Kenyon Yovan and Graham Stinson, I mean, I really wanted to talk to them about baseball, but also mostly not about baseball, really, when it comes to visiting Cuba, representing Team USA. And Kenyon Yovan talked about really how they didn't realize how much they have.
1-2 pitch fouled off down the left field line, and the catch is made by Spencer Steer right up against the netting. Excuse me, that was Jax Grosh. Yep, that was Justin Levy, I'm sorry, to make the catch over near the netting. Got a little confused. Our vantage point is blocked off here at Eldridge Park. Either way, whoever made the catch, it's an out. So what a way in the top of the 5th.
And Kenyon Yovan just talked about, from what he saw, just appreciating what he has here in America and really soaking up being abroad. It's not an experience everyone gets, especially with a baseball team, which is so exciting.
And quick action as Wallner's hit by a pitch. Fastball ran in on the hand, so now Wallner aboard with only one out.
But as far as Graham Stinson, he's here, Braden. He's back, but he's not really back. He's about to go back home soon. And so I asked him, even though you're not making an appearance, how are you able to make an effect on the team? And, as a leader of the pitching staff coming back for the second year, really it's just about being an energy guy. He wants to be that morale guy. And if anyone knows Graham, he can be that guy for sure.
Yeah, and it's really cool that he decided to come back. Obviously, no reason to be here other than to support his teammates and spend some more time on Cape Cod. The 1-0 pitch to Davis Sims popped up on the right side. Ranging back is the second baseman Steer, battling a bit of a breeze and is able to make the catch about a foot into the outfield grass for the second out.
And then I just had some fun with him for the last couple questions. I asked Kenyon what he missed most about America. What do you think it was, Braden? What do you think, out of everything in America, what do you think he would miss?
I honestly have no guess. There's a lot we need to be thankful for. What is it?
Greasy food. Greasy food. I know you had that on the tip of your tongue. That's what he missed most about America. And then I asked Graham what he liked most about Cuba.
Well, here what that answer was is the first pitch runs inside to Logan Davidson. So, okay, greasy food. I guess that's a fair answer. What was Graham's?
Mangoes.
Yeah, okay.
Loves those Cuban mangoes, and I have to concur. Mangoes are fantastic.
I'm a big mango guy as well. We talked about that on the Bird Talk pregame show as a ground ball to the left side off the glove of Andrew Martinez. Would have been a near impossible play anyways, but instead it is a single for Logan Davidson. He's now 1 for 2 on the night, and the inning continues. So, all right, Eliav, goodbye. Pleasure for you to join us. And I know I kind of gave you a hard time earlier, but it really is an honor, especially here at home. We normally don't get you at the broadcast table.
I know, it's so fun, this Vantage Point at Eldridge Park, as you were saying, Braden, a beautiful night for some baseball. I mean, what can be bad tonight?
No, nothing at all. So thank you, Eliav, for coming on as always. Great stuff. Every single time you appear on the broadcast, as ball one dips low to Cameron Cannon. He's been the victim of 2 flyouts to center field, but that last one marred in controversy, as it was the catcher's interference call that nearly got Kelly Nicholson ejected from this ball game. Hendrickson comes set, looks back to runner at second, now kicks and fires with a fastball that runs high. It's 2-0.
And Braden, obviously this is your first season in Orleans. It's my first season in Orleans. We were told before the summer that Kelly Nicholson, a very even-keeled guy, very common. We've noticed that. But he gets tossed once this summer. I thought it was going to be tonight.
The 2-0 pitch swung on, popped up on the hill for strike number 1. It certainly seemed that way. He was yelling. It was audible from our broadcast table across the way.
He even asked to get tossed.
He literally did. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Didn't happen, though, and that's exactly what Skip said. You're not tossing me because you know I'm right. I mean, a fair argument for any manager to make. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Cameron Cannon. As the southpaw from Australia kicks and fires, the runner going from second base. It's a foul ball back to the net. It's now 2-2.
Yeah, and that was not a sign given by Jeff Trundy and the Falmouth Commodores. Davidson did not move at all at first base, so just a straight steal for Wallner, taking off. Thought he picked off the sign from Hendrickson.
Josh has been consistent. 1 look back and then deliver to the plate. Might try to change that up here as he delivers the 2-2 pitch to Cannon. Hendrickson kicks and fires. The runner not going. The fastball runs high. A throw down to first base behind the runner. Back in safely is Davidson. And the count now 2-2. Pardon, 3 balls and 2 strikes coming into Cameron Cannon, as wasn't a designed pitch out that time. But the throw from Clark made it look like it could have been. Runners will be going on the payoff pitch here. Hendrickson looks back at the runner. Looks him back again now. And he'll kick and fire with a 3-2 pitch. A breaking ball in there for strike number 3, catching the top of the strike zone and freezing Cannon. And the inning is over. So the Commodores get 2 base runners aboard in the top of the 5th inning, but they're unable to do anything with it. We'll head to the home half of the 5th inning. Falmouth on top of Orleans. It's 6-2 on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. New pitcher out there for Falmouth as we're set to start the bottom of the 5th inning here in Orleans. It'll be Spencer Strider, the right-hander from Clemson, taking over for Matthew Catarino. Strider will be making an appearance for Falmouth in a outing so far where it's been all Commodores, 6-2 the score. As Catarino was gifted runs early on, but he did a great job running with that success. And he's in line right now for the win.
He went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned a walk, and 6 Ks. We'll see what Strider can do as the quote-unquote second starter, if you will, here for the Falmouth Commodores.
And it was called that second starter, even though this will be a relief appearance. This will be his first time out of the bullpen all year long as he delivers a fastball in there for strike number 1 to Justin Levy, who's playing third base tonight for Orleans. Justin 0 for 1 on the evening so far, grounded out to short in the 2nd inning. Fastball from Strider drifts high. It's now 1 ball and 1 strike to the Louisville Cardinal. It's been a struggle so far for Orleans, just 3 hits through the first 4 offensive innings. Comes the 1-1 pitch to Levy. It's a fastball on the outside part for strike number 2.
Yeah, it's been a very inconsistent strike zone behind the plate. That ball looked a little up and away, but called a strike by the home plate umpire, David Gonzalez.
Inconsistent umpire calls as the 1-2 fastball runs high. It's now 2-2 as that was an easy pitch to lay off of for Levy. Andrew Martinez stands on deck for Orleans. That'll be Matt Frazier here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Comes the 2-2 pitch to Levy. It'll dip low, and a good AB now for Levy against the new pitcher Strider. The count is full. See if the Birds can get something going, trailing by 4 runs. It's 6-2 in favor of Falmouth. Here comes the payoff pitch from Strider. Swung on and missed by Levy. And the first K of Strider's evening comes against the first batter he faces. The Birds have caught the strikeout bug a bit as Catarino ended with 6. And now Strider strikes out the first batter he possibly could. So Andrew Martinez will dig in now for Orleans. Andrew struck out looking at his first AB and looks at a ball low in the zone. Martinez, the shortstop tonight. In place of Salgazzo, who's taken over that starting shortstop role. Looks at strike number 1. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll be joined by Vanderbilt head coach Tim Corbin coming up next half inning. That was the plan, at least. As the pitch runs high, it's now 2 balls and a strike. Andrew Martinez batting from the right side, the Cal State Santa Barbara products. Comes the 2-1 pitch from Strider. Breaking ball and a beauty at that catches the inside part of the plate. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. 6-2 the score in favor of Falmouth. Fastball runs high. Martinez chases it out of the strike zone for strike number 3. 2 batters faced, 2 strikeouts for Strider, and that'll bring up the top of the lineup in Matt Frazier as the Firebird offense continues to be very quiet here tonight. So Matt Frazier now will dig in for Orleans. He's 0 for 2. He was another one of those strikeout victims, as now 8 Firebirds have been put down on strikes so far tonight. First pitch fastball in there for strike number 1 into Matt Frazier. Falmouth scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Frazier, a fastball that just barely missed outside. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Spencer Strider, a young man from Clemson, a lot of talent out there on the bump. He kicks and fires a breaking ball that catches the upper part of the strike zone. And Frazier now behind 1-2. Strider 1 pitch away from striking out the side. Strider kicks and fires. The pitch fastball fouled off over Route 28. And the count still 1 ball and 2 strikes as the Firebirds try to get something going, a 2-out rally perhaps to try to cut into this 4-run deficit here at Eldridge Park. Comes the 1-2 yet again to Matt Frazier. Fastball inside part of the plate. Just battled off. A save me swing from Frazier as he was handcuffed on that fastball. But a nice job to save face and stay alive in this count. That's something Frazier's done very well so far here tonight. Just battling in that leadoff spot. The first time all season he's led off a game for Orleans. Trying to get something going for the Firebirds here in the bottom of the 5th. Here comes the 1-2 again. Breaking ball, hit to the other way. It's a solid base hit single for Matt Frazier. Just going the other way with that pitch, setting it to left field. And the Birds rally alive here in the bottom of the 5th as a Vanderbilt Commodore in J.J. Blade will dig in.
A good swing there from Frazier as the dugout kind of exploded a little bit. Long overdue for Maddie, and here's a good chance for JJ to try and square one up and tack on another run for the Birds.
So the fourth base hit of the night for Orleans comes off the bat of Matt Frazier, and it will be Blade to dig in. He's 0 for 2 so far. Flew out to second base at his last time up as he looks at a fine breaking pitch from Strider in there for strike number 1. JJ coming into the night, third in the league with a .333 batting average, and tied for third with 9 doubles. Swinging away at the 0-1 pitch and fouling it off on the net just in front of us. It's quickly 0-2. A double here could perhaps score Frazier with the speed that Matty has over there for Orleans. Birds just trying to chip away at this 4-run deficit. Falmouth's offense has been on fire so far tonight. It's 0-2 to Blade. Strider comes set. The righty from Clemson kicks and fires. Fastball high out of the strike zone that Blade chases for strike number 3. So a good first inning of relief for Spencer Strider coming in and striking out the side against the Orleans Firebirds. As we'll head to the 6th inning here at Eldridge Park. The score, Falmouth 6, Orleans 2. We'll be joined by Tim Corbin, the head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores, coming up next on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. 6-2 the score in favor of Falmouth. We're joined now by a very special guest, Tim Corbin, head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores. And Coach, first off, thanks a lot for joining us on the broadcast. And I guess first question, an easy one. What are your initial thoughts on Eldridge Park?
Well, this is one of my favorite places to be honest with you. We always send kids up here and love Sue Horton and, of course, love Kelly Nicholson. But this is very traditional. I remember coaching here when I was with Team USA, and really it was one of the first times I ever saw it. And I said, this needs to be a place where we send a lot of our kids.
And so you mentioned that relationship you have with Kelly Nicholson as Edward Julian, the batter, looks at strike 1 from Josh Hendrickson. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Josh. It dips low. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. So that relationship you have, of course, 3 of your players spending their summers up here in Orleans. What is that relationship like between you and Kelly Nicholson?
No, it's very close, actually. I got to meet him in 2000 when I was a USA coach with Mike Gillespie, who was at Cal Irvine at the time, John Savage at UCLA, so we had a very nice staff. And we were all out at the College World Series at the time. And when we came back, Kelly was kind of keeping the team together until I got there, or until we got there, I should say. And then just got to meet him at that time. We've been close ever since. We've got a good connection. Our wives are close, and Donna and my wife Maggie are very close. We had dinner the first night we got here, but I just enjoy the experience that he provides the kids, because this summer baseball situation is very delicate in a lot of different ways. You know, you want to develop the kids, but Kelly takes on a very deliberate approach about the development piece, both mentally and physically, and I appreciate that.
So Josh Hendrickson, a nice AB there, striking out Julian, and that would be Herbert Iser digging in with 1 away. And that's something I want to ask you about, Coach, because you're with your Vanderbilt Commodore players all year long. Then you send them away to a guy like Kelly Nicholson or any other summer ball league, perhaps, as Hendrickson first pitch fouled off, strike number 1. So what's kind of like that process? We hear Kelly Nicholson tell us what it's like from his side of things, but what is it like matching up your players with particular college teams? Summer leagues, I should say.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of trust that has to go into, you know, the summer organizations that you send your kids to, because you're not that they have to be handled with kid gloves, but you just want them to have a routine. You want a guy who's going to take care of them both physically and mentally. You want a guy who challenges them the right way, and someone who mentors them and somewhat simulates the same standards and values that your own program has. And Kelly, I feel he's very trustworthy. He's feels like a brother. He's like a pair of nice jeans. He's very comfortable, and I think the kids get that feeling too every time they play for him. And he's a winning coach. He does a good job with the kids, and but what he does is he creates harmony within the environment for the team, and that you can see that's very effective with everyone who shows up here.
2 up, 2 down so far. Another strikeout for Hendrickson. Back up to the top of the lineup in Will Brennan. You mentioned how Kelly Nicholson is a winner. You are yourself obviously a winner. 3 appearances to Omaha, almost 700 wins, and the list of players that have spent their time at Vanderbilt obviously off the charts. Guys like David Price, Dansby Swanson, Walker Buehler, to name a few. So what are your relationships like with those guys that have spent their time and now really succeeding in the big leagues?
Well, they're good. I mean, I'm happy that they get to further themselves in professional baseball. That's nice. But I think for me and my wife and for the rest of us, we're really always concerned about their development and how they proceed through life with, you mentioned Price. And the only discussions we ever have now are about Xavier. I said, send me pictures of Xavier because I want to see what he looks like. And so it gets to that level. Same with Sonny Gray and the rest of them. But it's more about their lives than anything else than it is baseball.
All right, Coach. Well, I really do appreciate you coming on, and we'll see if some of the Vanderbilt Commodores can get it done for the rest of this game. And we wish you the best of luck for your next season at Vanderbilt, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your time here on Cape Cod.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Tim Corbin joining OFBN. Another big thanks to join the broadcast. We will head to the 6th inning now, bottom of the 6th. The Firebirds trail Falmouth 6-2. We'll be right back here on OFBN. Time for the home half of the 6th inning between Orleans and Falmouth. Commodores on top 6-2. Spencer Strider back out there for his 2nd inning of work after striking out the side. In his 1st inning, we'll see whether or not the heart of the order for Orleans can get it going. It'll be Spencer Steer, Logan Wyatt, and Nick Osborne to get things going for Orleans, as the Birds trying to crack open this ball game and finally get themselves back in. And so far, it's just been 1 2-run home run from Nick Osborne, the only source of scoring for Orleans. So Strider, the right-hander from Clemson, kicks and fires. The first pitch, a fastball in the outside corner for strike number 1. Once again, huge thank you to Tim Corbin joining the broadcast. That was great stuff from him last inning as Steer swings away. A foul ball over the top of the Firebird dugout. It's 0-2. Always cool to hear the input of any college manager, but especially Tim Corbin, one of the best there is in college baseball, turning Vanderbilt into a gold standard program in the SEC. Comes the 0-2 pitch to Steer. Fastball that runs high. Good eye by Spencer to lay off of it. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and touching on that program as it is, obviously the gold standard, if you will, but they're going to be very, very good this next coming year. They're going to return a lot of players. Should be a top 10 team for the majority of the year.
Comes the 1-2 to Steer. Breaking ball fouled off, and you mentioned that. And part of the reason why they'll have 3 Orleans Firebirds obviously coming back. J.J. Blade, Pat DeMarco, and Phil Clark, all very important roles for this Vanderbilt ball club. And a very good recruiting class, like always, as well, will factor into that. Here comes the 1-2 to Steer. A fastball chased high out of the strike zone. And how about Spencer Strider so far? All 4 outs he's recorded have been by way of the strikeout.
And Strider winning the battle of the Spencers over Steer, and just a rough night for Spencer Steer at the dish, who's normally very comfortable here at Eldridge Park. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Odd things to see from Steer here at home.
So Logan White will dig in. He has provided half of the Orleans offense, 2 of the 4 hits, both of them singles. Try to get his third right here as he looks at ball 1 on the inside hat. The 1-0 to Logan White again misses. It's 2 balls and no strikes, and a good hitter's count for Logan White, a guy who leads the CCBL in walks with 23. Also has been hit by the most pitches, 9 of them. Comes the 2-0 pitch to Logan White, a fastball that dips low and outside. It's now 3-0.
I think the craziest thing about White, he's now reached base in 14 consecutive games, but he's reached base in 28 of the 30 games he's played this summer. Again, these are the best pitchers in the CCBL and in the country.
Yeah, really an incredible stat. Here comes the 3-0 pitch, a fastball that went near the temple of White. He dodges out of the way, and it'll be his 24th walk of the summer. And the Firebirds have a 1-out base runner and set the table for Nick Osborne.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Orleans needs to do, is if White can get on base, you have Osborne, who's already hit tons of home runs already. I beg your pardon, Wyatt gets on base, Osborne hits it out of the park and worked the first time around. Kelly Nicholson trying to have it work again.
So Osborne sent a line drive no-doubt shot over the 350 side in left center field, his first AB. And he looks at a breaking pitch low into the dirt. A good stop by Iser for ball number 1. 6-2 Falmouth. It's been that way since the top of the 3rd inning. Neither side really getting anything going offensively in the middle innings. Orleans trying to change that right here with one away and a runner at first. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Nick Osborne. A fastball on the outside part for strike number 1.
And Osborne's home run stopped him out of a 2 for 19 skid. He'd really kind of fallen off the table a little bit.
1 for 1. He walked at his second plate appearance. He swings away there and fouls a pitch off of himself. He's okay, but again now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And you could really hear the grunt from Osborne after that swing. And kind of funny, the first base umpire clarified that it was foul, kind of almost jokingly to Kelly Nicholson to make sure the umpires were on the same page.
Judging by the way the night's gone for Kelly Nicholson, you assume he probably didn't laugh at that joke. Comes the 1-2 pitch to Nick Osborne. Strider kicks and fires. It's a fastball up in the zone that Osborne sends the other way. Back near the wall, but the catch is made a step short of the warning track by the right fielder Stowers for out number 2.
Yeah, Osborne gave that ball a ride just off the end of the bat, and with the wind not blowing out at all, that ball stayed in the yard. Stowers, a very good defensive outfielder, able to make the play.
So Jax Groshans will dig in. We mentioned how great he was last night for Orleans. All 4 of his ABs were extremely gritty. He came through with 3 hits. So far tonight, it's been a different story. He's over 2 with 2 flyouts. It's a game of baseball for you. Comes the first pitch into Groshans, a fastball that catches the inside part. Groshans turns around and really says, did that really catch his own? And apparently it did, according to David Gonzalez. The count is 0-1. Wyatt leads off first base. He walked in his plate appearance. Comes the 0-1 pitch to Groshans. Good eye by Jax, looking at a pitch low and in the dirt. It's 1-1. Just 4 hits so far for Orleans, 8 of them for Falmouth. Commodores won the first 2 meetings between these teams, and it looks like they're on their way right now at least to going up 3-0 in the season series. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball in the outside corner, and Groshans now behind 1-2.
Yeah, and Braden, this was an offensive slugfest the first 3 innings, but not much going offensively for either side since, just 3 combined hits.
Groshans trying to get something going for Orleans, 1 pitch away. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It runs high. It's 2-2. Phil Clark stands on deck. He is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks so far for the Firebirds. So Orleans trailing this ball game 6-2. Wyatt, a conservative leadoff first. Strider kicks and fires, a pitch low into the dirt. A good stop by Iser will not allow Wyatt to advance, but it is ball 3. And the count now full to the Orleans left fielder and Jax Groshans.
Yeah, fantastic stop by Iser. The count now 3-2 with 2 outs, so Wyatt, the runner at first base, will be able to take off with the pitch.
The Kansas Jayhawk and Jax Groshans trying to get the job done. Here comes the payoff pitch with Wyatt running. It ran inside. Groshans gets out of the way. It's ball 4. A walk to Groshans, the second of the inning, and that means Phil Clark will step up with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs.
Obviously, we talked about how great Strider has been in terms of striking out a lot of hitters, but he's also struggled in this inning alone. Just a couple of walks already and a good chance for the Birds down by 4. If Clark can find a ball hit into the gap, even potentially hit it out, it could cut it to a 2 or 1 run game.
It's been a struggle so far for the two Vanderbilt Commodores in the lineup. They're combined 0 for 5 so far, playing in front of their college manager, and we'll see whether or not Clark can break that trend right here. The lefty batter from from Vanderbilt. Phil Clark, 0 for 2 on the night, swings over the top of a fastball for strike number 1. Wyatt leads off at second base. Groshans off at first. 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-2 the score in favor of Falmouth. Clark looks at a fastball that just barely catches the strike zone. It's now no balls and 2 strikes. The lull of this ball game really is the story in the middle innings after all sorts of wacky things happened in the first 3. These middle innings have been very, very routine. Comes the 0-2 pitch to Clark. Swings away, makes solid contact. It's a fair ball down the first base line, touching the foul line and going out of play, as Groshans will be held up at third base because of it. But it is an RBI double for Phil Clark. And the Birds finally get another run on the board. It's now 6-3.
Yeah, Braden, another run on the board, but another tough break for the Birds. That ball just skipped out of play. That would have easily been a 2 RBI double, if not a triple, for Clark. And now Orleans really needs to pick it up with Levy set to bat.
So Justin Levy will try to pick up the slack. You mentioned that. It didn't bounce over the wall, but it went to the right of the wall. Of course, fencing does not go all the way around Eldridge Park, and literally hit off the foul line. So Justin Levy with 2 runners aboard in scoring position, and this is a big-time spot in this ball game as ball 1 delivered high. 6-3 the score, but a base hit could make this a 1-run ball game just like that. Levy trying to get the job done. He's 0 for 2 so far tonight. Ground ball to shortstop and a strikeout. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Strider, low and in the dirt. Good stop once again by Isers. Did a fine job behind the plate tonight for Falmouth. The count's 2-0.
And Herbert Iser has done a fantastic job defensively behind the dish. Has not had much experience in the CCBL, but doing a great job really committing that glove right into the dirt, dropping those shoulders over to the front side of his body, blocking baseballs.
Levy at a good hitter's count. We'll see if he can get a pitch to handle here. Comes the 2-0 pitch. Levy looks at a fastball in the outside half for strike number 1.
And Justin Levy, a guy that Stu Murray described as a very toolsy guy, just trying to put it together here in the CCBL.
See if he can pull a tool out of the toolbox and use it right here. The 2-1 pitch coming in to the Louisville Cardinal. Schrader kicks and fires. Fastball up in the zone that Levy cannot catch up to. And now the Birds down on their final strike here in this inning, trying to push the score even closer.
And
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-3 the score. Deuces are wild. Levy trying to get the job done as the righty from Clemson, Spencer Strider, trying to pick up yet another strikeout. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball outside corner, strike number 3. Levy is frozen on a fine pitch from Strider, and he escapes the jam with just 1 run across. It's 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base for the Firebirds. As I'll hand the play-by-play duties back over to Josh White. He'll bring us home here from Eldridge Park, a game in which Falmouth leads 6-3. We'll take a quick break and be right back on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network.
Falmouth on top of Orleans, 6-3 as we head to the top of the 7th inning here at Eldridge Park. Josh Hendrickson, the southpaw from San Diego, will now enter his 5th inning of relief work after coming into the ballgame in the 2nd inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 here for the Commodores. Maverick Hanley, Kyle Stowers, and Matt Wallner. Hanley, the DH from Stanford, digs in from the right side. 0 for 3 tonight. Hendrickson kicks and fires. First pitch from the southpaw. Fastball popped up down the third base line behind the plate. And that runs out of play onto Route 28 for strike 1. Hanley, described by Stanford teammate and Orleans Firebird Eric Miller. It's a guy that's probably got the smartest IQ he's ever seen in the game of baseball. 0-1. Fastball hit on the ground. Diving stop by the third baseman Levy, and this runs under the glove and digs down the left field corner. Hanley takes the big turnaround first. He'll think better of it. It's a stand-up single for Maverick Hanley, hit hard down the left field line, and he's aboard for the first time tonight.
We saw that arm from Jack Scroshans last night, gunning a runner out at the plate. And again, you can just tell that when Jax hits the ball, he's ready to come up gunning. And like you said, Hanley thinking better of it, staying at first base.
So Kyle Stowers now, another Stanford Cardinal, will dig in for the left side. Stowers 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI double back in the first. Lefty-lefty matchup first pitch. Breaking ball that runs up and in for ball 1. Stowers entered the night batting .330 with 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. Ranked in the top 5 in average in the CCBL, 1-0. Fastball fouled back to the screen. That evens at the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Stowers has been a much better road hitter than at home this summer for the Commodores, batting a scorching .396 away from Artie Allen Diamond. 1-1 pitch from Hendrickson will be held up as he'll check on Hanley at first base, nothing doing. 6-3 the score in favor of Falmouth with nobody down in the top of the 7th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball runs inside, backpick from the catcher Clark, not in time. That'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. 6'3" left-handed hitting right fielder digs back in. Hendrickson comes set at the belt, checks on Hanley. Long stare in, here's the 2-1. Breaking ball lifted the other way out to left center field. Groshans has it camped under it, couple steps in front of the track, and he makes the catch. With Hanley halfway, he'll retreat back to first base, and there's 1 away in the top of the 7th.
I'll tell you what, that breaking ball from Josh Hendrickson is just flat out nasty. You saw a great swing put on it by Stowers. He had that front foot down. It was about halfway there because of the bend on that ball, and even with a great approach at the plate, all you can do is pop it up. Hendrickson has that weapon of a pitch, and he's used it so well so far this summer. You see it just again right there.
It's Matt Wallner now the batter for the Falmouth Commodores, the Southern Mississippi center fielder. 1 for 2 tonight. First pitch, Hanley running. First pitch hit to the right side, clubbed by the second baseman Steer. He'll take the short out at first base in time. So the hit and run avoids the double play for the Commodores as Hanley advances to second base. There's 2 down in the top of the 7th.
The Birds will gladly take the out there and trust that they can get around Davis Sims, who is a dangerous hitter, but with the way Hendrickson's been throwing the ball these last 2 innings, you got to feel confident that he can get almost anyone out in this Commodores lineup.
Falmouth 6, Orleans 3, here with 2 down in the top of the 7th. Sims 2 for 3 tonight. Homered in the first, singled in the third. Long strand from Hendrickson, who now steps off the rubber. Hanley leads off second base. Now the catcher Phil Clark will come out and talk to Josh Hendrickson. Sims, the rising redshirt junior, set to transfer to Western Kentucky after spending his first few years at Murray State. He's starting to turn it up a little bit for the Commodores, batting .333 over his last 5 games. Hanley, not the biggest threat to run at second base. 5 stolen bases already on the summer. With good outfield arms for the Birds, with Jack Groshans in left, Matt Frazier in center, and J.J. Boudet in right. So Sims digs back in for the right side. Hendrickson comes set, first pitch. Fastball pops up an elevator shaft on the left side of the infield. The shortstop Martinez ranging in, just left of the pitcher's mound, and he'll not make the catch as this one drops in. Levy and Martinez were battling for the baseball, and Martinez could not make the play. We'll see how that one is scored. But nonetheless, it's 7-3 in favor of the Commodores.
Mile-high pop-up. I get that it might be unlikely to see that baseball the entire time, but that's a play you absolutely have to make. I mean, that's on the infield grass, and you got to feel for Josh Hendrickson on that play because he absolutely earned to get out of that inning, and just a botched play by the left side of the infield.
And potentially, we're still waiting on the official scoring, but that could go down as an RBI single because nobody touched that baseball. Now Logan Davidson enters. First pitch, shattering breaking ball, hit to the shortstop Martinez. He makes a play, and the side is retired, but not before the Commodores strike for another run here in the top of the 7th. It's now 7-3 in favor of Falmouth. We've reached stretch time here at Eldridge Park. You listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 7th here at Eldridge Park. It's Falmouth 7 and Orleans 3. It'll be 9-1-2 here for the Firebirds. Andrew Martinez, Matt Frazier, and J.J. Widay set to face Spencer Strider, who's out for his 3rd inning of relief. The shortstop from UC Santa Barbara, Martinez, digs in from the right side. First pitch. Breaking ball on the inside corner, called strike 1. Been rough sledding so far for Martinez, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. The righty kicks and fires the 0-1. Fastball lifted down the right field line, tailing out of play. And this runs onto the hill here at Eldridge Park as about a dozen kids give chase for that souvenir. And the count now 0 balls and 2 strikes. Martinez playing in his 9th game this summer for the Firebirds, just batting a .158. Strider extends the arms, now comes set. Kicks and fires the 0-2. Breaking ball that runs inside, almost clips Martinez as he moves the shoulder away from that baseball. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Martinez, the rising redshirt sophomore, originally from San Francisco, California. Strider stares in. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball runs up and away above the letters of Martinez, and that'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Martinez trying to reach base for the first time tonight, with the Birds trailing 7-3 in the home half of the 7th. Clemson Tiger kicks and fires 2-2. Breaking ball that runs low and outside, and that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Andrew Martinez trying to get on base here for the Birds with their leadoff hitter, Matt Frazier, waiting in the on-deck circle. The Santa Barbara Gaucho digs back in from the right side. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball cut on and missed strike 3, the 3rd strikeout of the night for Andrew Martinez, and there's 1 down in the bottom of the 7th.
Now 12 strikeouts on the night for Firebird hitters. That is just a very high total that will make life hard for any offense when you're striking out that much. You just got to put the ball in play, simple as that. Season high is 19. They most likely will not get to that, but still a very rough night at the yard for Orleans.
So Frazier digs in from the left side. First pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, called strike 1. Like you mentioned, 12 strikeouts for the Firebirds tonight. 6 from Matt Canarino, now 6 for Spencer Strider. 0-1 pitch. Fastball fouled back to the screen, just left of home plate. And now Strider jumps ahead, 0 balls and 2 strikes. Frazier 1 for 3 today. The center fielder from Arizona unstraps the black and red batting gloves and digs back in. Strider scraping the cleats on the back of the pitcher's mound, sporting the maroon and white stirrups with the orange and white cleats. Righty gets his sign, kicks and fires the 0-2. Fastball fought off by Frazier, just gets a piece off the end of the bat. And we'll do it again at 0 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the home half of the 7th, with the Commodores leading the Firebirds 7-3. The rising junior digs back in. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt, laid off by Frazier easily, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6'3", 205-pound outfielder trying to get on base for the second time tonight. Long stare in from the right-hander. Kicks and fires the 1-2. Fastball runs upstairs above the head of Frazier, and that evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I got to tell you, I'm very pleased with what I've seen from Matt Frazier tonight, and I'm sure the coaching staff is as well. He's been battling up there in the leadoff spot.
Strider extends the arms, gets the sign from the catcher, Iser. Kicks and fires the 2-2. Fastball tipped into the glove of Iser, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Spencer Strider, his 7th of the night, and there's 2 down in the home half of the 7th.
Strikeout bug continues to bite Orleans. It's just been time after time. Canarino had 6 and already 7 now for Strider in his 2 innings of relief.
So J.J. Baudet, who's 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout, takes in from the left side. First pitch from Strider. Breaking ball that catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Baudet playing in front of his head coach, Tim Corbin, not having his best day at the yard. Strider shakes off the sign from Iser. Now comes set. Here's the 0-1. Fastball lifted down the left field line and foul. Just over the third base dugout for Falmouth and runs into the forest behind Route 28. And that'll make the count 0-2. So Spencer Strider 1 strike away from striking at the side here in the 7th. Right-hander gets the sign. Wheels and deals. Here's the 0-2. Fastball fought off by Baudet, just barely off the end of the tan bat. And we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Baudet has really hit well off of right-handers, batting .360 compared to just .238 off southpaws. Strider kicks and fires, the 0-2. Fastball fought off once again by Baudet, just over home plate down the left field line. We'll do it again 0-2. JJ entered the night 3rd in the league in average, with that average standing at .333. Strider stares in, kicks and fires, 0-2. Breaking ball lifted down the left field line once again. A nice battle here from Baudet. It'll draw a lot of pitches from Strider. And we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes.
Quite a few souvenirs, and you're right. Very good battle. Just putting on good swings against better pitches and staying alive.
0-2 pitch here from the right-hander. Fastball hit on a line over the third baseman Cannon, down the left field line in for a base hit. Baudet takes the turnaround first base. He'll hold up there. It's a 2-out single for J.J. Baudet. The Birds have a base runner here in the home half of the 7th.
Big-time battle won that time by J.J. Baudet, just sautéing that baseball to the left side over the head of the diving Cannon, standing at 3rd, and a fine piece of hitting for J.J. Baudet. He's done it all year long, and just another example right there.
So now Spencer Steer, the second baseman from Oregon, will try and avoid the golden sombrero here, already with 3 strikeouts on the night. Baudet leads off first. Strider now comes set at the belt. First pitch. Breaking ball that fools Steer for strike 1. Steer entered the night batting .310 with 4 home runs and 18 RBIs, trying to get back to his normal self and reach base. Baudet leads off first base. Long stare in from Strider. Now he comes set at the chest. Right-hander kicks and fires 0-1. Breaking ball blooped out to shallow center field, and that one dinks in for a Texas Leaguer base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Firebirds, and they have a rally going here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 down.
You mentioned it's Texas Leaguer, but as I always say, a line drive in the box score, and good enough for Spencer Steer. He breaks a tough game so far. He struck out in his first 3 at-bats, and now a guy who's red hot, and Logan White will step in.
So Logan White, who's been on base all 3 times tonight with a couple of base hits and a walk, will dig in from the left side, with the Birds trailing the Commodores 7-3. Steer leads off first, Baudet off of second base. First baseman from the University of Louisville, trying to give Orleans a chance right here. Strider comes set, checks on the runner at second base. First pitch to Wyatt. Fastball that catches the inside corner for strike 1. Logan has been sensational all summer long. End of the night, 3rd in OBP in the CCBL. Strider leads off first. Here's the 0-1. Fastball that just misses inside, and that'll even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 6'4", 225-pound left-handed swinging first baseman, trying to pick up his 14th RBI right here. Steer off of first, Baudet off of second. Strider comes set at the belt. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher, Iser once again. Nothing's run past him all night. And the count now goes to 2 balls and a strike. This has been a spot where Logan has thrived for the Birds, batting .366 with runners on base. Clemson Tiger comes set at the belt. 2-1 pitch. Fastball, high chopper to the right side, just foul, touched by Davis Sims, the first baseman. That'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So another chance for Logan White to try and pick up his first RBI of the night and cut this 4-run lead. It's Falmouth 7 and Orleans 3, with 2 down in the home half of the 7th. Long stare in for the right-hander. And the Clemson Tiger comes set. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. That runs away from the catcher, Iser, and rolls near the first base on deck circle. And our Orleans runners will advance 90 feet as Steer takes second and Baudet takes third. And the count now full to Logan White.
Now a perfect spot for Logan White, a guy who you trust his eye more than anyone else on this team. Full count situation. You assume Strider going to try to go into him. Doesn't want to have to face Nick Osborne with the bases loaded. So we'll see whether or not White gets a pitch he can hit here.
Osborne waits on deck, representing the tying run if Wyatt could reach. 3-2 the count to the Birds cleanup hitter. 2 in scoring position here for Orleans. Big time spot here for Spencer Strider. Right-hander comes set. Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball low and outside, ball 4. Logan Wyatt reaches for the 4th time tonight. And the Birds will bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Nick Osborne.
This is the guy you want up in a money spot. Nick Osborne, who already hit a home run earlier in this game, stepping in there. Just got to keep a nice fluid swing. Don't worry about the situation. You just got to focus on each pitch with a passion and a zeal and see whether or not it'll be a new pitcher out there, as we're going to have a mound visit now with 2 away.
So Jeff Trundy will visit the pitcher's mound to check on Spencer Strider. As a right-hander getting loose for the Commodores. Some action in the Orleans bullpen as well. Looks like a right-hander tossing out there. So Trundy talking things over with Iser and Strider just to make sure that he's okay. The Birds bring the tying run to the plate. Chance for Orleans. So the meeting adjourned on the mound as the pitching coach out there for the Commodores. So the base is full here for Orleans. Logan Wyatt on first, Spencer Steer at second, J.J. Baudet just 90 feet away at third, and Nick Osborne, who's tied for the league lead in home runs, digging in from the right side. Big time spot here for Orleans. Strider comes set. First pitch to Osborne. Breaking ball in the dirt. And Osborne lays off for ball 1. Osborne 1 for 2 tonight at a 2 RBI home run back in the 2nd. His 7th home run of the night. Looking for 7th home run of the season. Looking for his 8th of the summer right here. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball that runs low and outside, and that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes.
Perfect situation for Nick Osborne now. You're up 2-0 in the count. You trust your abilities, but you look for a pitch in your zone. He loves that outside fastball. We'll see if he can get it here up 2-0.
Carson Spires getting loose for the Commodores down the left field line. 2-0 pitch from Strider. Fastball that Osborne lays off of on the outside corner. That'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Big time spot here for Orleans, trailing 7-3 with 2 down in the home half of the 7th. Wyatt leads off first, Steer off of second, and Baudet 90 feet away at third. Strider comes set at the belt. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball that runs outside. Osborne lays off, and a very friendly hitter's count for Nick Osborne.
Same situation. You look for a pitch that you want in a certain spot, and you fire. If not, you live to see another pitch.
Strider laboring out there right now behind the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Long stare in from the Clemson Tiger. Now the right-hander comes set. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. A home run hack by Nick Osborne as he swung right through that baseball, and that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the merry-go-round will be in motion here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the home half of the 7th. Big-time pitch coming up. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball just fought off by Nick Osborne back to the screen. And we'll do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Finally, after this game was a lull for Orleans for so long, everyone's emotions hanging on this next pitch. This is the guy you want up, and a great AB so far for Osborne. Can he win the battle?
Osborne had struggled of late for Orleans. Just 2 for his last 19. But it's delivered with 1 home run tonight. Trying to pick up his 2nd blast of the ball game. Runners will be off with the pitch. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball lifted out to deep center field. The center fielder Wallner charging in as he sticks up the glove and makes the catch. And the side is retired. So Spencer Strider gets out of the jam after Orleans scores no runs on one hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. Went to the top of the 8th here at Eldridge Park. 7-3 the score in favor of the Commodores. Listen to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Falmouth on top of Orleans, 7-3 as we head to the top of the 8th here at Eldridge Park. Josh Hendrickson back out for another inning of relief as he entered in the 2nd inning, going for inning number 6 right here. Cameron Cannon, Edward Julian, and Herbert Iser set to face the southpaw from San Diego. Cannon, the 3rd baseman from the University of Arizona, 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking in the 5th as he digs in from the right side. Commodores teed off on Corey Giacone, who started this ballgame, just going 2 1/3, giving up 6 runs. Southpaw kicks and fires. First pitch. Fastball that paints the outside corner at the belt of Cannon for strike 1. Cannon flew out to his Arizona teammate back in the 2nd inning. Matt Frazier in dead center field. 0-1 pitch from Hendrickson. Breaking ball fouled back to the screen, and Josh jumps ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Say what you will about this game so far for Orleans, but for me it's either Logan White or Josh Hendrickson, the 2 players of the game. Josh has done outstanding out there on the mound. It was called an earned run on that botched play on the left side of the infield, but other than that, kind of a rarity, a tough break for him. He's been outstanding.
0-2 pitch from the southpaw. Fastball that ties up Cannon. He went around as the first base umpire, strike 3. Hendrickson picks up another strikeout, and there's one down in the top of the 8th.
Another great job by Hendrickson dotting that fastball up in the zone, and Cannon not happy with the call at all, voicing his displeasure as he walks back to the Commodore dugout.
Some R-rated words used by Cannon, if you will.
Hide the
Julian
children.
digs in from the left side. First pitch from the southpaw. Fastball that misses low and outside for ball 1. Julian 1 for 2 tonight. Singled in the 2nd and came around to score. Delivered an RBI sac fly in the 3rd. And struck out swinging in the 6th. 1-0 pitch. Fastball that paints the outside corner. And that'll even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. One. Breaking ball lifted down the left field line. Groshun's giving chase near the corner. And this ball is falling in play. And this one skips over the fence. It's a ground rule double for Edward Julian. And the Commodores have a runner in scoring position with 1 down.
Nice job by Edward Julian there of getting the job done. A solid hit down the left field line for extra bases, as Hendrickson going to have to battle through a bit of traffic on the bases right now. Already down by 4, and you assume another run here could almost be the nail in the coffin for Orleans.
Now Herbert Iser will dig in from the left side. First pitch, breaking ball that misses up and in for ball 1. Iser 1 for 3 tonight, doubled in the 2nd, struck out swinging twice since. Julian leads off of 2nd. 1-0 pitch from Hendrickson. Breaking ball that paints the outside corner, and that'll even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 7-3 the score in favor of Falmouth here with 1 down in the top of the 8th. Julian leads off the second after the double. 1-1 pitch from Hendrickson. Fastball fouled back behind home plate, just above our heads, just on the left side of the dish. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Heiser, a fantastic story. Originally born in Jamaica, moved to Miami, Florida when he was just 2 years old. His father, a Cuban defector. 1-2 pitch. Fastball hit down the third base line and foul. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Heiser originally committed to play at the University of Miami, but spent 2 seasons at arguably the best junior college in the country in Houston, Texas. A program that's produced Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit, and Brandon Belt, just to name a few. Hendrickson comes set at the belt. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball that fools Heiser, strike 3. Heiser chased the breaking ball near the helmet for his 3rd strikeout of the night, and there's 2 away in the top of the 8th.
We've seen a lot of strikeouts so far this season. That might have been the ugliest one so far. Heiser, when we say save me swing, we really mean it. It was coming up near his head. It wasn't the best Hendrickson breaking ball we've ever seen, and Josh kind of lets out a deep breath like we got away with one there, but a wild K of Heiser. Not pretty at all.
The 6th strikeout of the night for Josh Hendrickson. First pitch now to Brennan. Misses inside for ball 1. 5th time around here for the Commodores as Brennan 1 for 4 tonight. Southpaw stares in for his sign from the catcher, Clark. 1-0 pitch from Hendrickson. Fastball fouled back to the screen, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Like you talked about earlier in the inning, Josh Hendrickson has really been a godsend so far in this ball game. He's almost eaten up 5, at the moment 5 1/3 innings, just giving up a few hits and 1 run. So Brennan, the left fielder from Kansas State, digs back in. Julian leads off a second after picking up that 1-out double. Falmouth on top of Orleans 7-3. 1-1 pitch from Hendrickson. Fastball that paints the outside corner at the belt of Brennan, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. For Orleans, it'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the home half. Jack Scrotians, Phil Clark, and Justin Levy trying to chip at this deficit. 1-2 pitch. Fastball on a half swing by Brennan as he fouls that down the left field line, and that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nick Osborne out there beginning to throw for Orleans, and be interesting to see whether or not he comes in. There's some other action out there in the bullpen, including Shea Smitty beginning to stretch around there for Orleans.
1-2 pitch from the southpaw. Fastball that runs low and outside, and that'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brennan has not fared well this summer against southpaws, just batting a .132. Hendrickson, long stare in, checks on the runner at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball that just runs outside off the plate. Skipping the right-handed batter's box. And that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Hendrickson trying to keep the Commodores off the board right here. Already a 7-3 Falmouth lead. Lefty comes set at the belt. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball chopper to the left side. Gloved by Martinez. He'll throw to first. Picked to the dirt by Wyatt in time. A fantastic play by Logan Wyatt to save the errant throw by Andrew Martinez. Josh Hendrickson gets out of the jam, and Falmouth scores no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 run left on base. Went to the home half of the 8th here at Eldridge Park. 7-3 the score in favor of Falmouth. You're listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Falmouth Commodores lead the Orleans Firebirds 7-3 as we head to the home half of the 8th here at Eldridge Park. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for Orleans. Jax Groshans, Phil Clark, and Justin Levy set to face Spencer Strider, entering his 4th inning of relief work. It's been an Orleans offense that's been very inconsistent tonight. They've already left 8 runners on base, including 13 strikeouts offensively, trying to rewrite the script here. So Groshans, the left fielder from Kansas, will stroll to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight, but drew a walk in the bottom of the 6th. Righty on righty matchup to get things going in the bottom of the 8th, with the Commodores leading the Birds 7-3. Strider kicks and fires, first pitch. Breaking ball that runs low and inside for ball 1. Groshans just playing in his 2nd game back since returning from the World University Games. Strider kicks and fires, 1-0. Fastball fouled down the right field line, tailing out of play. And this runs 3/4 of the way up the hill here at Eldridge Park. And the count now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch from the right-hander. Fastball that paints the outside corner at the belt of Groshans. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Magnolia, Texas native trying to get on here for Orleans with Phil Clark waiting on deck. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, ring him up, strike 3. Groshans doesn't like the call, and he's retired on strikes for the first out of the inning.
And Jax doesn't like the call. Inconsistency continues from home plate umpire David Gonzalez. Frustration all around for the Firebirds right now.
It's now Phil Clark, the left-handed hitting catcher from Vanderbilt, will dig in, with the Birds trailing the Doors 7-3. The Franklin, Tennessee native, 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI double. Righty on lefty matchup. First pitch from Strider. Breaking ball that tails upstairs above the letters of Clark. Count now 1-0. Clark playing in front of his head coach from the Vanderbilt Commodores, Tim Corbett. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball that misses up and away. And that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes. Clark, one of 3 Vanderbilt Commodores on this team for the Orleans Firebirds. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball that misses outside, just off the plate. And Strider falls behind, 3 balls and no strikes. Freshman All-American trying to get on base for the 2nd time tonight. Strider extends the arms in front of the head. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Fastball upstairs, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Phil Clark. He's aboard for the 2nd time tonight. And the Birds have a 1-out base runner here in the home half of the 8th.
So the inconsistency continues as that ball 3 call appeared to be a strike. Groshans was upset with the strike 3, so it's tough when you're a hitter and you don't really know where the strike zone is, as we'll see whether or not, not a lot of time to fix it, but whether or not it'll be changed at all.
So Justin Levy, the right-handed hitting 3rd baseman, digs in for the Birds. Strider comes set at the belt. First pitch. Fastball that paints the outside corner for strike 1. Levy 0 for 3 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. It's now 13 strikeouts in the ballgame for the Orleans Firebirds. It was 6 for Cantorino, the starter for the Commodores. Now 7 for Strider. Here's the 0-1. Fastball cut on and missed on a home run hack. And that'll make the count no balls and 2 strikes. Orleans trailing Falmouth 7-3 with 1 down in the home half of the 8th. Clark leads off first base after drawing a 1-out walk. Clemson Tiger comes set at the belt. Here's the 0-2. Fastball that runs up and away above the letters of Levy. And that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Levy has struggled in the month of July, just batting a .152. The Kenosha, Wisconsin native digs back in from the right side. Strider comes set at the belt. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher, Iser, as he blocks that baseball with his chest. And that'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Iser has been rock solid behind the dish, dropping to his knees, throwing the glove right at the dirt, and blocking the baseball like a hockey goalie. 2-2 the count now to the Birds' 8-hole hitter. Here's the pitch from Strider. Fastball that runs up and away. And that'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Clark not a threat to run at first base. He's not attempted a stolen base all summer. 3-2 the count here to the Birds' 3rd baseman. Strider comes set. He's going to check on Clark over there at first base as he dives back in safely, but had Clark leaning towards second base.
Good move that time by Strider. It almost got Clark leaning, like you said, and very lucky for Orleans it wasn't a pickoff in this inning.
So Orleans trying to tag one on the scoreboard in the inning. Long stare in from Strider. And a check on Clark once again, who steps back in safely. Pat DeMarco, Orleans outfielder, waiting on deck for the Birds. He would come in as a pinch hitter for the shortstop, Andrew Martinez, if this inning continues. One out here in the home half of the 8th. Here's the payoff pitch from Strider. Fastball cut on and missed, strike 3. Another strikeout for the Orleans Firebirds offense. And there's 2 away in the bottom of the 8th.
You said it, another strikeout. It's just been like it's contagious. You always hear that hitting is contagious. Well, strikeouts, unfortunately, for Orleans have been that way. Now 15 of them throughout the night for Firebird hitters.
It's now a pinch hitter here for Orleans, as the Staten Island, New York native Pat DeMarco will get his first AB of the ball game. So the Vanderbilt Commodore trying to show off for his head coach in the ballpark, Tim Corbett. First pitch from Strider. Fastball runs way outside for ball 1. DeMarco playing in his 28th game this summer for Kelly Nicholson and the Orleans Firebirds. Batting .281 with 2 home runs and 11 RBIs. Strider comes set at the belt, the 1-0. Breaking ball that runs low and outside. And that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes. 7-3 the score in favor of Falmouth with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. DeMarco starting to heat up a little bit this summer, batting .304 with 3 runs scored in the last 5 games. Strider comes set at the belt, 2-0 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed down to a knee for DeMarco. That'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. DeMarco entered the night in the CCBL, 4th in hits with 34 in just 27 games played. Clark leads off first base. Here's the 2-1 from Strider. Fastball runs outside, even with the belt of DeMarco. Now the count now falls to 3-1. So the 5'9" outfielder will dig back in from the right side. Sporting the black and gold batting gloves for the Vanderbilt Commodores. 3-1 pitch. Fastball outside, ball 4. A couple of walks in the innings for the Birds. And Matt Frazier, the Birds' leadoff hitter, will stroll to the dish.
Walks as good as a hit. You hear it all the time. And 2 of those this frame have put together a bit of a rally. And we'll see whether or not the Birds can now convert with a hit. But first there will be a mound visit from pitching coach Mike Landry to discuss strategy.
So Mike Landry will come out, and he's going to point down to the bullpen and take the ball from Spencer Strider. And that will end the day for the right-hander from Clemson, who went 3 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. A walk and 9 Ks for the right-hander, as he is responsible for DeMarco and Clark on base. We'll head to a break here at Eldridge Park. The score 7-3 in favor of Falmouth. Listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Commodores on top of the Birds, 7-3 here at Eldridge Park with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th, but a big-time chance for Orleans with runners on first and second. Their leadoff hitter, Matt Frazier, strolling to the dish. New pitcher into the ballgame for Falmouth. It's the right-hander from Clemson, Carson Spires.
Spires has been outstanding so far this season. This will be his 7th appearance at ERA at .96 in just 9 1/3 innings. So he's been a shutdown guy out of the bullpen, trying to do the same thing here for Falmouth.
So Frazier digs in for the 5th time tonight. First pitch from Spires will be held up as he checks on the runner at second base. DeMarco leads off first after drawing a pinch hit walk. Clark off of second base after drawing a free pass as well. Frazier in from the left side. First pitch from Spires. Frazier shows bunt and bunts through that pitch for strike one.
So a bold strategy there for Matt Frazier, trying to bunt with 2 outs. Runners at first and second.
And his college teammate, Cameron Cannon, is the third baseman who definitely knows the speed Frazier has. 0-1. Breaking ball that runs up and away. And then it'll even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. It's been a struggle so far this summer for Matt Frazier. Just batting a .149 entering the ninth through his first 23 games. 2 on and 2 out here in the home half of the 8th. Commodores on top of the Firebirds 7-3. Strutter comes set at the chest. Kicks and fires the 1-1. Fastball hit on the ground right to the first baseman Sims, who sticks the glove in the dirt and makes the play and steps on the bag himself. And this side is retired. So Orleans scores no runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We're at the top of the 9th here at Eldridge Park. 7-3 the score in favor of Falmouth. You're listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Nick Osborne, the two-way player from Tennessee Tech, will transition from the batting lineup onto the pitcher's mound for Orleans as he takes things over in the top of the 9th inning, with the Birds trailing the Doors 7-3 here at Eldridge Park. So that'll end the night for Josh Hendrickson, the southpaw from UC San Diego, who went 5 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, it was earned, a walk and 6 strikeouts, but he had a godsend of a pitching outing after Corey Giacone got tagged for 6 runs in just 2 1/3.
Yeah, Josh Hendrickson, hats off to you after a phenomenal performance out there on the bump. And even though it's still a 4-run deficit, he is the only reason it's that close. He was phenomenal, fooling Commodore hitters and really just making them look foolish throughout his 5 2/3 innings of work.
So Osborne making his 10th appearance of the summer on the mound. He's 1-2 with an 8.10 ERA through his first 10 innings pitched. He'll face 2, 3, and 4 here for Falmouth. Maverick Hanley, Kyle Stowers, and Matt Wallner. So Hanley, the designated hitter from Stanford, will dig in for the 5th time tonight. He's 1 for 4 with a single back in the 7th. Hanley, the Highlands Ranch, California native, digs in from the right side. Osborne extends the arms, kicks and fires. First pitch from the right-hander. Fastball on the outside corner, called strike 1. Hanley, a catcher by trade, just stands at 5'10", a $195. Long stare in from Osborne. Kicks and fires. Here's the 0-1. Fastball runs up and away above the letters of Hanley. And that'll make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Hanley has reached base in 7 straight ball games now. The 1-1. Breaking ball that skips in the dirt. And Osborne falls behind 2 balls and 1 strike. He's been a reliable bat so far this summer for the Falmouth Commodores. 2-1 pitch. Fastball hit on a line. Diving stop by the shortstop Gazzo, but this trick's under the glove and into left field. And Hanley's aboard for the second time tonight with a leadoff single here in the top of the ninth.
Solid wood yet again from Maverick Handley, a guy who prides himself on being one of the smartest players in the game. Going to Stanford, that seems obvious, but he really excels with his IQ on the diamond as well.
So Kyle Stowers will now try and add to this 7-3 Falmouth lead as the right fielder from Stanford digs in. His college teammate Hanley leads off first. First pitch, fastball hit on the ground to the right side. Into right field, a base hit. Hit and run to perfection for the Falmouth Commodores as Hanley advances first to third. And back-to-back base hits for the Commodores, and they have runners on the corners with nobody out.
Those are the little things that really the Firebirds have not been able to capitalize on all season long. A hit and run, a bunt laid down. Those are the things that win you ball games. And those are the things Falmouth have done well tonight. But Orleans, on the other hand, just unable to do those things all year long.
So now Matt Wallner will dig in. The center fielder from Southern Mississippi, 1 for 3 tonight with a home run back in the third. Big time spot here for Nick Osborne, who has not had his best stuff on the mound, giving up back-to-back leadoff base hits. So Osborne trying to keep the Commodores off the board, already leading 7-3. Center fielder Wallner digs in from the left side. Stowers leads off first, Hanley off of third base. First pitch from Osborne. Fastball lifted into center field. Frazier lines it up and makes the catch. Tagging in from third base is Hanley. He'll score easily on the sacrifice RBI for Matt Wallner. It's now 8-3 in favor of Falmouth.
Big time wood from Matt Wellner off the bat. That was hit hard, but luckily for Orleans, right at Frazier out in center field. Still a run scoring, but it could have been a lot worse.
The Commodores now lead by 5 here with 1 down in the top of the ninth. Now the first baseman, Davis Sims, will dig in for the right side. The right-hander Osborne comes out at the chest. First pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, called strike 1. Productive day at the plate for Sims, who's 2 for 3 today, with a 2 RBI home run back in the first. 0-1. Fastball lifted out to right center field, but Day ranging back, looks up, and this ball is gone into the Orleans bullpen. The second home run of the day for Davis Sims, his 5th of the summer. Insurance runs galore for the Falmouth Commodores. It's now 10-3 in favor of the Doors.
Not only insurance, I'd say a nail in the coffin as the struggles continue for Nick Osborne out there on the mound. A massive moonshot into the bullpen. And it's all Falmouth yet again here at Eldridge Park.
So Davis Sims, the thorn in the Orleans side, with 2 home runs tonight and 5 RBIs. Now the switch hitting shortstop Logan Davidson will dig in from the left side. Osborne stares in for the sign from Clark. Wheels and deals. First pitch. Fastball at the top of the strike zone for strike 1. Davidson 1 for 3 tonight. Singled back in the 5th. Shortstop from Clemson stares at the black and tan bat. Now re-enters the batting box. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball that ties up Davidson, and now Osborne jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. It's been rough sledding for the Orleans pitching staff tonight. Corey Ciccone got tagged for 6 runs. Now Osborne getting tagged for 3 in this inning. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball cut on and missed strike 3. Davidson goes down swinging for the second out of the inning.
Much needed strikeout for Nick Osborne, but once again just being towed up out there on the mound. A great job by the Commodores of picking up their 10th run of the night, just hitting the ball hard everywhere.
Now Cameron Cannon will dig in from the right side. Cannon was part of the controversy back in the 3rd. First pitch. Breaking ball that tails outside for ball 1. If you're just joining us, you missed a heck of a ball game filled with tons of controversy in the beginning, and Cannon at the center of it. 1-0 pitch. Fastball paints the outside corner, and that'll make it 1-1. Might seem obsolete at this point with the Commodores leading 10-3, but there was a late catcher's interference called on Phil Clark in the 3rd inning on the swing from Cannon. 1-1 pitch. Break ball, chopper up the third base line. Gonna be a tough play for Levy. Bare hands it and can't make the play. It's an infield single for Cameron Cannon. He's aboard for the first time tonight. And 1 through 9, all Falmouth Commodores have reached base.
Yep, And it's a hitting clinic so far for the Commodores, a team that came in here dead last in batting average, was hitting .220 as a team, but they are not looking like that so far tonight. You said it. Every single player on this team has now reached base, and it's been an absolute show put on for the Commodores.
So now Edward Julian, the second baseman from Auburn, will try and keep the train rolling for the Commodores. Already leading 10-3 in this ball game. Long stir in from Osborne. He now comes set at the chest. First pitch. Fastball that tails outside for ball one. Julian 2 for 3 today. Singled in the second and came around to score. Had a sac fly RBI in the third and doubled in the eighth. Deep breath from Osborne. Here's the 1-0. Fastball that runs up and in as Julian dances out of the way. That'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes. Getting lost in this entire shuffle is the absolutely tremendous job that Josh Hendrickson did out of the bullpen. He went 5 2/3 innings of 1-run ball, 2-0. Fastball that paints the inside corner, and that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. For Orleans, it'll be 2, 3, and 4. J.J. Boudet, Spencer Steer, and Logan Wyatt. But they're going to need a lot more than that in the home half of the night. 2-1 pitch from Osborne. Fastball tipped into the glove of Clark. The count now 2-2. Not good news for Orleans either. Brewster won tonight, picking up a 5-3 victory over Wareham. So that will pull Orleans 2 points closer to last place. Osborne shakes off the sign and now comes set. Here's the 2-2. Fastball upstairs near the noggin of Julian. That'll run the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. While we have a moment, let's check around the league and check some scores. As Hyannis beat Wareham at McKeon Park at 12 o'clock, 6-5. Brewster beat Wareham in the doubleheader for them at Stony Brook Field, 5-3. It's all Hyannis over Chatham, 12-5. Payoff pitch from Osborne. Breaking ball upstairs, ball 4. Back-to-back base runners for the Commodores. Found with all over Orleans here in the night. Let's continue looking around the league. It's Bourne beating YD 6-3. Let's get to it, and Harwich tied at the bottom of the 8th at 3. So Herbert Iser, the batter now for the Commodores. He's 1 for 4 tonight with a trio of strikeouts. Dallas Baptist catcher digs in from the left side. First pitch from Osborne. Fastball lifted out to deep right field. Boudet raging back. He's at the track, has room, and makes the play. And the side is retired, but not before the Commodores strike for 3 more runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. One last chance for Orleans as we head to the home half of the ninth here at Eldridge Park. Listening to the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the ninth we go here at Eldridge Park. It's been all Falmouth. The Commodores lead the Firebirds 10-3. And one last chance for Orleans. They'll have 2, 3, and 4 due to bat. J.J. Boudet, Spencer Steer, and Logan Wyatt set to face Carson Spires, who's trying to shut the door. It's been an offensive clinic from the Commodores tonight. 10 runs on 10 runs on 15 hits compared to the 3 runs on 7 hits for Orleans. So Blade digs in for the 5th time tonight. He's 1 for 4. Righty and lefty matchup. Spires comes set at the chest. First pitch from the Clemson Tiger. Fastball runs inside for ball 1. Blade just trying to pass the baton and give Orleans a chance. We've seen Orleans trail by 7 heading into the later innings. They came back against the Brewster Whitecaps, scoring 8 runs. Here's the 1-0. Fastball runs low and inside, and that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes. That'd be a tough task to do for a second time in a season, let alone against a pretty dang good team. Team that stands in 3rd place in the Western Division. 2-0 pitch. Fastball runs upstairs above the letters of Blade. That'll make the count 3 balls and no strikes. Blade trying to reach base for the 2nd time tonight. Ahead in the count 3 balls and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Fastball low and outside, ball 4. Blade works out a leadoff walk, and the Birds have a base runner here in the bottom of the 9th.
Hasn't been the patience that's really hurt Orleans tonight. It's always tough to give up 10 runs. That's putting yourself in such a hole. You can't even really count on your offense to pick you up after something like that.
So now Spencer Steer will dig in from the right side. Birds second baseman, 1 for 4 tonight with a single in the 7th and a hat trick of strikeouts. Righty on righty matchup. Spires comes set. First pitch. Fastball that paints the inside corner for strike 1. Orleans has not led at any point in this ball game. Falmouth struck for 3 in the 1st, followed up with another in the 2nd before Orleans cut the deficit in half 4-2. 0-1 pitch from the right-hander. Breaking ball that paints the outside corner, and that'll make the count no balls and 2 strikes. Then Falmouth added to their lead with 2 more in the 3rd. Orleans fought back with a run in the 6th. Falmouth answered back in the 7th, and then 3 more in the top half. It's been all Commodores hits. 0-2 pitch. Fastball lifted down the right field line, tailing out of play. This runs up on the hill here at Eldridge Park, and we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, just a thorough beatdown, kind of similar to what happened the first time these 2 teams met at Eldridge Park, and just another tough pill to swallow for Orleans.
Logan White waits on deck, who's reached all 4 times tonight. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball tiptoed down the 3rd base line and foul as Chris Constantine moves out of the way. And we'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. It's been all Falmouth, 10-3 with nobody down in the home half tonight. Would take a miracle here, to say the least. Bird's going to try and have to climb up a mountain to stand a chance in this ball game. But A leads off first. 0-2 pitch. Fastball lifted out to left center field. Brennan ranging over. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
You mentioned that comeback against Brewster. Let's talk about the Whitecaps for a moment. A team that's now, most likely if Orleans ends up losing this game, only 4 points back of Orleans. They are coming, and, you know, it was a joke for a while that they were nipping on the heels of Orleans. It's true now. The Firebirds haven't kept up play to deserve the distance, and Brewster's starting to play pretty good baseball.
First pitch to Wyatt, a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. One might say the Whitecaps are coming. The Whitecaps are coming. Might be time to win some ball games.
Did Paul Revere say that?
Maybe, maybe not. If you replace Whitecaps with
alternate
another
history. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
0-1 pitch from the right-hander. Fastball on the inside corner, and that'll make the count 0-2. Obviously, Cape Cod history, if you will, in the New England region. Braden, I know you're a big fan of history.
Oh, I'm a history buff indeed, Josh. You tickled my fancy with that one there.
0-2 the count to Logan White. Here's a pitch from Spires. Breaking ball that runs low and inside. Kicks off the groin area of the home plate umpire, Gonzalez. That'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A tough break, a painful moment for David Gonzalez, the home plate umpire. Never feels good to get hit in that region, and just a tough break on a fastball bouncing off the plate and catching him right there.
Gonzalez has taken a fair beating tonight behind the plate, both physically and verbally.
True.
10-3 the score here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Orleans down to their final 2 outs. 1-2 pitch from Spires. Breaking ball in the dirt. Rolls through the wickets of Iser. Throw down to second base with the runner going. In time! J.J. Blade thrown out trying to be very aggressive. Looked like Blade may have slid in safely, but the call in time. And Orleans now down to their final strike and final out. And the Firebirds faithful not happy with the umpires all night long. So Wyatt will try and extend this ball game. Orleans down to their final strike. Here's the 2-2. Fastball hit on the line, down the right field line, in fair territory. Logan Wyatt aboard for the 5th time tonight as this ball rolls out of play. It's a double for Logan. And Orleans still with a chance in this ball game.
A faint and fading chance, but Logan Wyatt sure has proven his worth. A phenomenal game, 3 for 3 with 2 walks. And a lot of things haven't gone right for Orleans tonight. The Birdwatch did. He's now reaching all 5 plate appearances.
He is, and you're very spot on with your Birdwatch.
Thank
Logan
you.
Wyatt, usually a very safe pick, and now picks it up again. So now Nick Osborne will dig in for the 5th time tonight. He's 1 for 3 with a home run. But he would love another one right here. First pitch from Spires. Fastball runs inside for ball 1. 10-3 the score in favor of Falmouth, with Orleans down to their final out. Wyatt leads off second base. Spires comes set at the chest. 1-0. Fastball that runs low and inside, and that'll make the count 2 balls and no strikes. Jax Groshun's waiting eagerly on deck, trying to get another opportunity in this ball game to pick up his first hit. Wyatt leading off of second. Spires comes set. Here's the 2-0. Fastball chopped to the third base side, right into the Falmouth dugout. And that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you mentioned the open, but these two teams will be going back at it tomorrow, and so you got to think Falmouth, this win does a lot, not only for their record, obviously, but for the psyche of this ball club, knowing they get to play Orleans again tomorrow.
So Orleans down to their final 2 strikes. Right-hander comes set on the bump. Here's the 2-1. Fastball chopped to the shortstop, Davidson. He makes the play. He takes his time behind second base. And the throw in time. And the ball game is over as Falmouth routs Orleans on an offensive clinic, 10-3 here at Eldridge Park. Falmouth scores 10 runs on 15 hits, no errors, and 8 runs left on base. For Orleans, it's 3 runs on 8 hits, 1 error, and 10 runners left on base. The winning pitcher tonight, Spencer Strider from Clemson on the long side. For the Firebirds, it's Corey Giacone, Southeastern Lion.
And a tough loss all around for the Orleans Firebirds. Just didn't really do anything well tonight outside of Josh Hendrickson and Logan Wyatt. A massive struggle all around. And the Birds, after winning 2 in a row, just like the story's been all year, you drop 2 in a row. You go from 2 steps up to 2 steps down, back where you started. And just another really tough night at the yard if you're an Orleans Firebirds fan.
So a tough break for the Birds as they drop to 12-19-1, just 4 points up on Brewster, as the Falmouth Commodores advance to 2 games above 500, 16-14-1, 33 points on the summer. As we'll have a pair of interviews here on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network postgame show. Ryan Erickson, an assistant coach for the Orleans Firebirds, will join Eliav Gabay before Josh Hendrickson, the Aussie, joins us at the broadcast booth. And Braden, your first impressions after this ball game's over?
Disappointment. I mean, that's the simple way to put it. One word to sum it up. All around, just a really rough game for Orleans. And like I said earlier, if it wasn't for Josh Hendrickson or Logan Wyatt, this game would have been even uglier than it already was. Just all around struggles from everyone involved. And the game of baseball can be beautiful in the fact that you get a chance to go back out and do it again tomorrow, or you can dread doing it. Right now, this team really, really struggling. Like you said, 7 games under 500. Brewster's now on their tails, just 4 points behind, and it's going to be kind of a gut check game tomorrow to see whether or not the Firebirds can bounce back in this one.
We'll see if Orleans can do that tomorrow night, but before we get there, we'll catch up with a couple of guys in that first base dugout from tonight. And not a great night for Orleans, but like you mentioned, they got some great performances from Josh Hendrickson. They got a good, strong performance from Logan Wyatt. So a good chance for the Firebirds to bounce back tomorrow night. Again, the Falmouth Commodores scored 10 runs on 15 hits, no errors, and 8 runners left on base. For Orleans, it was 3 runs on 8 hits, 1 error, and 10 runners left on base in a 2-hour and 47-minute contest seen by 1,303 fans here at Eldridge Park. The winning pitcher tonight, Spencer Strider, as he advances to 2-2, and Corey Draconi drops to 0-1. So we'll step aside for a short break here in the Orleans Firebirds post-game show as LAF Goodbye will track down Ryan Erickson, and Josh Hendrickson will join the broadcast table. You're listening to Orleans Firebirds baseball on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Eldridge Park. The Birds fall to the Commodores 10-3. Joining me now, Josh Hendrickson. Josh, let's talk about this ball game real quick. Obviously, we'll start with the positives here. You came out of the bullpen, pitched 5 2/3 strong innings, giving up 1 run on 4 hits. What do you have working out there?
I feel like I was able to throw all my pitches in any count. Keep the hitters off balance, keep them guessing, and defense was great behind me. Anytime the ball was put in play, they made the outs.
It seemed like the plan today was to have Corey go later in the ball game. You to kind of piggyback that as a second starter. What's that mentality like, knowing you're definitely going to come into the ball game?
It's kind of nice, so I can mentally prepare a little bit more and get ready to go physically as well, so I can prepare days in advance, knowing that I'm going to pitch on that night. Whereas just being in the bullpen, it's just kind of like, hey, let's go, like you're up. So it's a little bit easier to take my time getting ready.
So obviously you mentally prepared for this game, but then probably came in a lot earlier than you expected. What was kind of that routine trying to pick up your teammate, Corey, who struggled a little bit out there?
It was definitely just throwing everything in the zone, like get out in front with all my pitches, finish everything off, and just keep pounding the zone. That was the thing that definitely helped tonight.
The early part of this ball game had a little controversy to it, and how do you guys stay focused in the ball game when there's a call that might not go your way?
I mean, that's always tough when calls don't go the right way or your way, depending on which way you look at it. But, things can get a little bit emotional. I know I did. But after that, it's just kind of take a deep breath, let it go, and then just, live in the moment, get ready for the next inning, next at-bat, next pitch, and just forget about it, honestly, but keep it in the back of the mind to reflect on it later, but not let it affect the rest of the game.
Tomorrow night, you'll get another chance at the Falmouth Commodores, this time on the road. How do you guys bounce back and take down Falmouth for the first time this season?
I mean, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep swinging the bat, keep pitching, and things will start falling our way eventually.
We'll see if things fall the way of the Orleans Firebirds tomorrow night. Thank you, Josh, for joining us. Fantastic out of the bullpen tonight for Orleans. Hendrickson went 5 2/3, giving up 4 hits, just 1 run, a walk, and 6 Ks. As we'll be back at it tomorrow night on the road in Falmouth. First pitch set to start at 6 p.m., which means the OFBN pregame show will start at 5:45. For Braden Bell, I'm Josh White and the rest of our crew here at OFBN saying so long from Eldridge Park. This has been Orleans Firebirds Baseball on the Orleans Firebirds Broadcast Network.
Thanks, guys. Now, Ryan, it's been tough sometimes for the pitching to get going, and then on other nights for the offense to get going, and it's kind of vice versa. The offense will be going when the pitching is not, and etc. So, what do you do to maybe the key to get it back on track?
Well, I think it's that's part of baseball, is trying to find the synergy between offense and defense and base running, and everything kind of mixes together. We're trying to get everyone together as much as we can, and we just basically have to keep grinding, continue to work the process, and eventually we believe that it's going to work out in our favor.
Now, Josh Hendrickson, we've seen him out of the bullpen, we've seen him start, and making that transition is tough. So how much do you really credit him for performing the way he did tonight?
He's been really good for us, Eliav, and he has done a great job throwing strikes, keeping the defense active, getting guys involved, throwing a lot of strikes, and getting a lot of outs for us and working good innings in whatever role he's been utilized in. We've done a really good job of communicating that with him, and he's been very open to it, and speaks to his versatility that he's able to do both.
And when you're seeing Falmouth tomorrow once more, when you see that same lineup back-to-back days, if any, what adjustments do you make?
Well, it's always good to see a team back-to-back. We play series in college baseball, so we'll make the necessary adjustments on our end, and the players will be familiar with the type of pitching that they're going to face and the type of hitters we're going to see. So we'll just make the necessary adjustments and play hard.
Well, back to you guys. Thanks, Ryan.